Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello, my beautiful friends in YouTube land. Wow, what an exciting video we have. This is going to be my biggest video for the year. This is a far more important video than even the eclipse videos that I've been putting up over the last month. Believe me, this is a video, this is an astrological energy that is going to impact the world. It's the most important energy we're going to be exploring for the whole year. With that type of introduction, I bet you're all hanging on my every word to know what it is. It's the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction this week, my friends, the biggest astrological event this year. Yes, that great American solar eclipse occurred across America. It was amazing. It was beautiful, but it was affecting only a sliver of America. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction affects everybody all over the world. We are starting a brand new cycle. A 14-year cycle begins today when you're watching this video on the 20th of April. So, my friends, this video is going live on the 20th of April. If you're watching it after that, you're in the throes of the brand new beginning. But before we jump into this week's astro weather and what an astro weather report it's going to be, I need to tell you the winner of the solar return report for March. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. And the winner is Coronasta78. So at KORENNASTER78. If that is you, please contact me through the Guiding Star Astrology website contact form in order to claim your solar return reading prize. Very, very happy to give that to you. If you would like to win the solar return reading giveaway for April, all you've got to do is like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned to all the videos in May for the announcement of the winner. Let me know in the comments section that you've entered, and I can't wait to draw a winner for May for you. Now, as I said, this week's deep dive is into the massive energy of Jupiter-Uranus conjunction right here in Taurus. The biggest astrological event of the year. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, let's look at what else is happening this week. In this week's energy focus, we've got the sun making a square to Pluto. Down here's the sun in Taurus. Here's Pluto in Aquarius making a square aspect to one another on the 21st of April. Now, yikes, power struggles, stubbornness, these are hallmarks of this combination. So you might be really feeling the pressure now as people seek to manipulate you, coerce you, or control you, especially if you've got planets around 1 degree of the fixed signs. You might feel this all the more prominently than others. How do we deal with this? Well, my encouragement would be to use the power and direct it into your own life. And by that, I mean find ways to passionately create in your life or to get intense about expressing yourself in healthy ways. Evaluate your life now. Determine where you need to take your own power back again after you may have lost it, or revisit your deepest ambitions once more under this energy on the 21st of April. Your identity may also need a bit of an overhaul, and this week especially on the 21st of April, that's the day when you can use that energy to take meaningful steps in that direction, changing your identity, changing your image, changing how you're perceived out there in the world. Then on the 23rd of April, we have a full moon in Scorpio. So I have the moon here in Virgo right now, but the moon is going to move around to the early degrees of Scorpio. I'll be talking all about this on my Patreon family breakdown. Actually, I tell a lie. No, I won't be talking about this. Now, my Patreon family know why I have taken a break for a month. Very special, important reason why I'm taking a break for a month. So there will be no full moon report this month, but my Patreons aren't paying their usual subscription fee this month, and they're fully aware of that. So let me just quickly talk about the full moon in Scorpio that's occurring here. The theme for this particular full moon is cathartic release and allowing transformation to strengthen us. That's the theme of the Scorpio full moon. The energy of the moon in this case is connected to extreme sensuality, sexuality, passion, and lust. And be warned, the energy of this full moon is actually heightened with 3 planets that are out of bounds for this moon. And that includes the moon being out of bounds and the ruler of the moon in Scorpio, which is Mars. So it could be really rather full on as far as full moons go. So do you have any planets around 4 degrees of Scorpio? Were you born during the night? Well, ordinarily, I would say come and join me at the Patreon family to find out what it means for you. But we're having a month's reprieve at Patreon, and my Patreons know why. Okay, on the 25th of April, Mercury is turning direct after having been in Mercury retrograde for 3 weeks. Now, the key, here is Mercury down here in Aries. The key to Mercury retrograde periods are the idea of revamp, renew, research, reconnect, and resolve. They're the themes of Mercury retrograde period. So now that Mercury is at his most powerful and direct, it's time to get going. He's in front of the sun and he's just moved direct. It's time for us to get going in our lives too, my friends. Have you researched your next big step in life? Well, then it's time now to make a move now that Mercury turns direct on the 25th of April. Have you resolved conflicts and tension in your present circumstances? Well, celebrate now that Mercury's turned direct. Celebrate things feeling a little lighter. Have you reviewed decisions in your life that needed some second thoughts? Something we do during Mercury retrograde. Well, now that you've done that and Mercury's direct, you can move forward with a new solid direction. What are you waiting for, my friends? What are you waiting for? So they are the 3 big energies that are unfolding this week, but nowhere near as big as the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which we're going to be exploring now, and it's at 21 degrees of Taurus here. So if you have planets around 21 degrees of Taurus, you'll feel this very, very strongly, more so perhaps than other people. This could be if you have your ascendant at 21 degrees of Taurus, or your descendant, or your midheaven, or your IC. If your sun or your moon are there, particularly, you'll feel it. You may also, as well, if you've got your first house Lord at 21 degrees of Taurus, and a little lesser degree with any other planets that might be sitting there in your chart. So have a think. What have you got going on at 21 degrees of Taurus that's going to be impacted by this? Now, yes, you can consider an opposition, you can consider a square, you can consider a trine as well. But really the kick-ass energy is for those with a conjunction to Uranus, who's the higher octave of Mercury, and Jupiter. So let's explore what this is all about. So Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, and he's going to be there until 2026, after which he's going to move into Gemini. That's a whole other ball game. We'll talk about that in the future, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, because that's not actually too far away when we're having that monster event occur in our skies as well. So Uranus has been doing a lot of things in Taurus since 2018, and he's part of the reason why we've had so much upheaval in the world, part of the reason. There are other factors at play as well, not just Uranus in Taurus, but he has contributed to all the upheaval we've seen in the world quite significantly since 2018. And so Jupiter moving into Taurus, when that happened, he started to interact with the Uranian energy and turn the dial up even more. This conjunction of Jupiter with Uranus is going to really start kick it into gear at an even higher level, if you know what I mean. Because what Jupiter does when he interacts with other planets is he expands what they're already doing. He emphasizes what they're already doing. He's the big planet out there. I was listening to Gustav Holst's Jupiter Suite this week, and I'm like, this is like the biggest energy. It's the most beautiful piece of music. Check it out if you don't know it. But the most beautiful piece of music, and it just describes this massive monster planet out there and its power and its hugeness so exquisitely. Do check that out, the Jupiter Suite by Gustav Holst. I hope I'm saying his name right. But Jupiter is expansive, the biggest planet, and he expands whatever he touches. If he sits on your ascendant, hold on to your hats, my friends, because you will tend to put on weight in your old age if you're born with Jupiter on the ascendant. It will expand you physically in the house of the body. Got to be careful of that sort of thing. Sometimes you can be lucky and have mitigating factors that rein that in a little. If Saturn's interacting and doing some good work there, yay for that. But this is an example. Jupiter expands things. Jupiter expands your body. He expands your mind. He expands your soul. He expands your experiences. That's what Jupiter does. And here with Uranus in this conjunction, what's he going to do? He's going to expand everything that Uranus has already been doing in Taurus since 2018. Let's explore what those themes are and have been and are going to continue in a big way from this weekend onwards, from the 20th of April onwards. So one thing Uranus has brought to Taurus is a financial roller coaster, some ups and downs. Now, I know that things, we're surviving in the West. Most people watching this are in Western countries. But let's face it, property prices have been up and down, especially Taurus rules provincial areas, rural areas. And since Taurus has moved in there in 2018, we've seen rural property prices, particularly around COVID, go absolutely through the roof that we never imagined could even happen. Certainly when I look at where I came from in rural Australia, I never for a moment thought it would be a good investment to buy in some of those areas. But I wish I'd listened to my astrological knowledge at the time. Roller coaster rides with property prices, particularly in rural areas, Taurus pertaining to rural areas, financial roller coaster, cost of living up and down too. Taurus rules those things that we usually like to see fairly stable. It's a fixed energy, it's a fixed sign. We like stability in Taurus, while Uranus has turned stability on its head. We don't know whether we're coming or going in that regard anymore. So thanks, Uranus. And Jupiter here could actually interact and expand that financial roller coaster to a higher level. Okay, touch wood. It doesn't happen that way, but it could. That could be one of the manifestations of this combination. We might see a stronger push for a cashless society and a stronger push for digital currencies. Here in Australia, they've really started, I think it's been done by Stand Up Australia, a wonderful organisation that organises sort of protests and, taking a stand for liberty. And they've organised various cash-only days for people who subscribe to that kind of thing. So again, that's actually a combination of this energy, because Uranus is to protest, to rebel, to say no to the way things are going. And Jupiter has expanded that. Taurus has connections to tradition as well. So we can see people in that sense having a protest about the push for a cashless society and digital-only currencies. Cash is king and all that sort of thing. So we see that, but we also see the push happening at the same time for those cashless societies and for those digital currencies. This conjunction is going to exacerbate all of that even more. Taurus's values. What do we value? What do we treasure? What do we put store in? And our values have really been challenged and turned upside down since Uranus moved into Taurus. People who valued being in the center of the city in 2018 might now really put a lot of value in living out in the boonies because of certain things that have happened since 2018 in society. So a change in value in that regard we can see, but changes in all sorts of values. We might have put a great deal of store by making a lot of money, having a job with a big title and six figures and all that sort of thing. Maybe our values have changed throughout the last few years to value other things. Maybe simplicity, maybe self-sufficiency is something that we value now. How have your values changed, my friends, since 2018? Well, let me just say, Jupiter's going to expand those changes in you, I say, even more now. They'll become more predominant than they were before. Uranus's new trends. We've seen this new trend, as I keep referring to escape the city and become self-sufficient in provincial areas quite strongly. Certainly, I'm working in town planning as a day job, and I am seeing the push and the growth of new suburbs in rural towns all over the place. And in a sense, it's exciting, but there's a real new trend towards that sort of thing. What other new trends have you seen happening since Uranus moved into Taurus? Taurus being organic foods. Taurus being, just anything sensory, touch, taste, sight, sound, and smell. Taurus is money. What new trends are you seeing in money and banking and finance? Taurus is the natural world, and certainly we're seeing a push towards some climate change religion that's going on in the world right now as well. And that's Taurus is the environment, and of course we're seeing a trend heading in one direction with that. We're also seeing a trend in the other opposite direction as well. It's causing a lot of upheaval, which is very much a Uranian energy as well. It wants liberation and authenticity, and it'll do whatever it has to do to make it happen. Sometimes he'll pull the rug out from under you, he'll shock you, he'll surprise you, and our stability goes to the juice. So yes, Uranus's new trends in terms of environment and that sort of thing as well, that could be quite surprising, quite unexpected, quite shocking. Tech advances are a Uranian thing too, and we've seen tech advances that have come to bear since 2018 that now allow us to work from home, work from our place of comfort. Taurus is comfort, whatever is comfortable. It doesn't necessarily represent home, but it's all about where we feel comfortable. So now we can go to work in a cafe with a laptop, if that's what's comfortable for us, and sit there all day sipping lattes while we work. Now we can work from remote rural and provincial areas, Taurus, and still be able to work for a big high-flying company based in Sydney, based in New York, based wherever. We can change where we're working from thanks to tech advantages. That is very Uranian. And that's, of course, going to increase too, the opportunity for that sort of thing with Jupiter being here. As I've already said, the upheaval of stability is a Uranus in Taurus energy. I believe one of the last times that we had Uranus in Taurus was during the Second World War. Talk about an upheaval of stability. So again, that kind of energy, hopefully it doesn't result in war for us this time. Thanks be to God that we haven't got that going on yet. And let us, all say a quick prayer for the people who are suffering in those situations around the world. We have rapid change with Uranus, and this is exacerbated now too. Even in stubborn, fixed Taurus that doesn't like change, it resists change, it's slow and plodding to make change. Uranus says, no, liberation time, it is time for change. And so if you felt like your life has been sort of up and down and all over the place, that's Uranus in Taurus, making things that were formerly stable just change at a rapid rate of knots. Now, Uranus is also air travel. So, I haven't really seen a lot happening in this realm. We may start perhaps after Jupiter conjuncts with Uranus seeing faster air travel times or improved technology perhaps in the air travel industry. Certainly we know that in America there are a few airlines that could really do with a bit of improvement in their technology and so forth. So let's hope Boeing gets it all together. Now, there could also be, with Uranus in a conjunction with Jupiter, advances in the space industry, because that's what Uranus rules. Or Uranus is also liberation and truth coming out. Now, we could see an expansion of liberation and truth coming out about NASA and the space industry. That's also possible with this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus. Wouldn't that be nice to see that happen? There could be growth now in the astrological industry, if you want to call it an industry, and interest in astrology, because Uranus is astrology, it's the ruler of astrology, the astrological science, and Jupiter is higher knowledge, higher wisdom, and Jupiter is expansion. So we could see just a ton of people suddenly deciding, hey, I'm going to study at the Royal Stars Academy. Sign me up, Kesenya. Where's your webpage? It's in my description below if you want to find out. But we could see an expansion of interest in astrology. Understanding of astrology might increase in people's lives. Certainly people who have Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in their natal chart are very good astrologers. You know, I can name a couple of my students who possibly are watching this who actually have Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in their chart, which has led them down the road of seeking to become astrologers. So there could be a growth in that now, a spurt in that, and certainly anyone born around this time, the 20th of April 2024, may very well become an astrologer or have at least a very strong interest in astrological phenomenon. Now, we might also see changes to the Earth, because the Earth is associated with Taurus, an Earth sign, the Earth energy, you know, and the natural world is associated with the sign of Taurus. And of course, Uranus brings change, and Jupiter expands upon that change. So don't be surprised if we see some changes in the Earth, on the Earth. We had a few sort of rumblings and earthquakes prior to the eclipse. This could be another triggering factor for this sort of energy to unfold. Maybe an earthquake, maybe a volcano. These sorts of things are happening around the world quite frequently, you know, a lot of the time anyway. But this just amps it up a little, this energy. The other thing that we can see with Uranus, which is alternative measures. So Uranus represents the alternative approach. Here in the sign of Taurus, it could be potentially a push towards renewable energy, self-sufficient energy that might come about and in an expanded way. What would be really nice is, because Uranus is also liberation, it could be free energy. Wouldn't that be fantastic? In alignment with the dream of Nikola Tesla, that was unfortunately his ideas stolen from him. We're talking a lot of conspiracy theories here today, aren't we? But I'm a full-on conspiracy theorist, so like it or leave the channel, simply put. But Nikola Tesla, interestingly enough, was born with Uranus in Taurus in his first house. He was very Uranian and very Taurian as well. This is the energy we're talking about. Jupiter here is going to expand all this. We might see another Nikola Tesla type person step to the fore in society and say, hey, I know how to create free energy. You know, and yeah, let's protect somebody like that from the powers that be if that should happen. Nikola Tesla also had Pluto in Taurus in his first house as well. Quite a phenomenal man with a very phenomenal chart, worth checking out if you like reading the charts of well-known people in the world and well-known people in history. So that's some of the, let's call it mundane astrology that is playing out under this energy. But plus we also get some Uranus influence on Jupiterian themes as well. We get some change, we get some progress, we get some advancement in things to do with Jupiter as well. Now Jupiter is the gambling industry, Jupiter is the horse racing industry. So we could see technological advancements happening in those areas as well that are ruled by Jupiter. We might see some progress in children's entertainment or childcare. Jupiter rules children. We might see, children behaving like geniuses under this energy also, especially if children are born with this energy. Children who are just on fire, they've got a spark. They are clued in some way. We can also see Jupiter as wealth in the sign of Taurus, making money. We might see more online and digital ways of making money that come out of this conjunction. Now, it's not all going to happen on April the 28th, that bang, suddenly all this stuff just occurs all at once. No, but it starts the ball rolling because the energy shifts and there's momentum and change towards this. So we might see it playing out over the coming 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 4 months. We're going to see the outcomes of the energy that begins now and rolls out. So keep your eyes on what is happening in the world, and when certain trends started, you'll probably find they've started around this week, even if you don't hear about them for another 4 months. Okay? So big, powerful time. Now, as I've already mentioned, it is the beginning of a cycle. A 14-year cycle starts this week, because it'll be roughly 14 years before these two come back together again. It won't be in Taurus. It'll be in another sign. I would say Cancer or Leo, without knowing exactly off the top of my head. But this is going to be a powerful new beginning. And what starts now might be concluding in 14 years' time when this cycle concludes. Not only that, but what is happening now is the conclusion of a cycle that began 14 years ago. Where were you 14 years ago? What were you experiencing? What were you going through 14 years ago that might be now coming to an end? Well, I'll tell you, in my life, I got divorced in 2010 and we're now in 2024. And very happy to say, for me, that cycle is closing now and coming to an end. What about you? I don't know, I get so many people, I do so many readings for people who say my life changed completely in 2009, 2010, and just everything fell apart. And my life did, my ex-husband's life did. I know Dave's life went through some big renewal processes around that time too. So many people I know. And if this was the cycle that caused a lot of that shake-up, that breaking out of a rut we might have been in or becoming more liberated, then it's ending now. The cycle is done. You've learnt your lessons. You've grown as much as you needed to grow. And it's now time not to get scared of, oh my God, the rug's going to be put out from under me again. No, it's actually time to celebrate. I learnt from that cycle. I grew from that cycle. I am a wiser, more liberated, more empowered being because I've gone through the last 14 years. That's how we need to view these things, because that's actually the purpose of Uranus, is to liberate us, to set us free, and to help us live more authentic lives. Not lives that, buckle under the expectations of society and the old traditions and the old ways. Quite the opposite. Uranus says, no, I have to be me. I have to do me. And it's essential for my happiness that I do my life my way. Jupiter expands that. Jupiter emphasizes that right now as well. Jupiter is also having knowledge or insight or understanding. We want more meaning, we want more purpose. So we'll be seeking liberation and freedom that leads to more meaning and purpose in our lives. And I can honestly say, since this conjunction occurred last, I've moved into a life that's far more meaningful, far more purposeful than it was before. Far more, it's led me to astrology, quite honestly, a lot of this process into a deeper understanding of astrology, because Uranus is astrology, Jupiter is higher knowledge. So that's been my journey. What about you? Do you want to leave a comment in the comment section? Fill us all in. How has your life changed in the last 14 years as a result of this cycle that is now ending and a new cycle beginning? I love seeing endings because they herald new beginnings, which are always exciting. Now, last time Jupiter and Uranus were together in Taurus, as I said, was in 1941. My student and very lovely friend Tara Waters, hello Tara if you're watching, mentioned this in the previous video that we did at the beginning of the year about the Jupiter-Taurus conjunction. And Tara mentioned a few things that had been happening back then, such as the USA joining World War II in 1941 due to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So keep your eye on the stupid war that the USA is trying to start right now. Big sigh and lots of prayers around that one. The geomagnetic storm Tara mentioned in our video that occurred in 1941 was the biggest ever recorded, and it caused a lot of upheaval to the technology they had then. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say back up your computers in readiness, just in case. Won't hurt you to do it, whether it does or doesn't happen. Back up your computers and any electronic documents that you've got. Make sure you turn things off properly and all that sort of thing. Try to have backup energy sources where you can as well. Don't rely solely on electricity if you don't have to, because we often see repeats of cycles. Who knows, but there might be something else out there that's completely beyond human beings' control and could cause some upheavals. Remember, Uranus is electricity, Jupiter is expansion. It really could cause a lot of, like I said, some issues around those things. And now, because of the war, 1941, industrial production increased to feed the demands of war at that time. So we might see that happen. Probably, unfortunately, not so much in Western countries anymore, but we might see industrial production in places like India and China and Russia, other places as well, really stepping up and increasing now. We might see new food systems. Taurus is about food systems. We might see new food systems come into play in some way. Remember in 1941, there were food stamps, a new system of, divvying up the food that they had. We saw big campaigns for people to grow their own vegetables and be self-sufficient, big push in society for that. So it's going to be interesting. We might have something occur around those kinds of themes as well. Certainly, there is a big push in the circles that I interact with to grow your own veggies, to grow your own fruit, to preserve and store and keep your own produce. Love to do that. I follow some fabulous websites, YouTube channels actually, of farming and homesteading, which are just so inspirational. I love them. But we might see more of that sort of thing coming out of this. Now, the Great Depression ended in 1941 as well. So that, in a sense, started a period of greater abundance, because the depression was over. Well, who knows? Maybe, fingers crossed and touch wood, we see exactly that happen now. We've been through those yucky COVID years that have caused so much horror to our economies and our health. And now we might be moving into more abundant times with this conjunction. Let's hope. Fingers and toes crossed, everybody. We might be moving into much more abundant times, as was the case last time Jupiter-Uranus conjuncted in Taurus. Now, I want to share the charts of two countries who will be most affected by this conjunction. And the first one is actually the chart of Australia. I'm going to share with you the video that Tara Waters and I put together, a little section of the video looking at the chart of Australia and the chat that we had about this, this occurrence. What is interesting to me, before we go to the previous video, I'll slot it in here through the magic of editing. What is interesting to me is that we've just had Pluto conjunct the midheaven of the chart of Australia. And on the day that occurred, or around that time that occurred, the government of Australia passed the Digital ID Bill, meaning that Australians, to be able to interact normally, are going to have to get a digital ID. And that just leads to all sorts of possibilities for power and control and tyranny from the puppet masters the puppets who call themselves our government, who are really under the thumb of the WEF and the WHO. So that was disappointing to see that, but not surprising. Pluto on our midheaven, lo and behold, that's what happened. But I'm excited by this conjunction of liberating Uranus with expansive Jupiter. It is falling on the moon of the Australian chart, which is at 21 degrees of Taurus. So liberation for the Australian people, expansion for the Australian people, maybe the Australian people rebelling Uranus and saying, no way, Jose, not going to happen. No, I'm not going there. So I'm intrigued, excited in a way, a little bit scared too to see what's going to go down here in Australia. But let's have a look at the chart as Tara and I discuss some of the implications.
We will. So the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter is happening in Australia's second house. So Uranus in the second house in a natal chart can bring great windfalls, sudden unexpected gains, but unfortunately can be sudden losses. So big wins and big losses. Typically Jupiter in the second house can bring blessings, abundance and growth in relation to finance and material possessions and enhance your earthly reality. But with Uranus, like I said, it can be unpredictable. So if you have any planets, like personal planets around 21 degrees of Taurus or 21 degrees of the earth signs Virgo or Capricorn, you may experience unexpected sudden abundance or blessing. This applies to everyone, not just people in Australia. The second house is the house of personal finances, material resources, and what we value. It's the house of what we need to survive, things like shelter, food, money, the essentials, comforts to live a good life. So under the influence of Uranus and Jupiter, we could see upheavals and shocking events, increase or decrease in all things second house, like I said earlier. The second house in mundane or in astrology, but in the stock market, national wealth, finances and expenditure, according to mundane astrology, is ruled by the second house. Assets, banks, currency in circulation and control, also mundane astrology, and government finances, also mundane astrology. Interest rates, money. So all of these things at this time will be unpredictable. This conjunction is conjunct Australia's natal moon in Taurus, the moon ruling the masses and people. It may affect all Australians. So the moon rules our emotions, home, places we feel safe and secure, family, country, or of heritage. So in Vedic astrology, the second house rules the family, culture, land, and family values. So yeah, if anything has taught us in the last 3 years, I would say it would pay to just have a few extra supplies on hand, the basics for survival. And if you have the skills or the knowledge, you know, plant a vegetable garden, storing or preserve some food. Second house is also a place where we store things. So we've already seen a massive increase in the cost of living, and unfortunately I feel it may still be unpredictable and just uncertain times.
Yeah, very much. What's been interesting to me, Tara, is, you know, the moon, Australian people, the population is represented by the moon in Taurus. And even despite everything that's been going on in the world the last 3 years, I mean, Australia was so dictated, you know, especially in the state where I live. Both Victoria and Queensland were particularly bad. I don't know, was South Australia not as
well? Not really. No, South Australia wasn't. And where I live, I was a little bit removed from it. So.
Yeah. So we saw a lot of dictatorship. In fact, people refer to Victoria now as Danistan, which is Dan Andrews is our premier. So they're making a play on words there with that. But I found that the masses were reluctant and stubborn to change because they were comfortable, you know, like, well, I've got my home and you know, so I'm not going to go protest in the streets about what's going on. I'm comfortable and I'm okay. And when I see Uranus and Jupiter conjuncting practically the moon's position here, I think something may happen. This is just my opinion. Something may happen that's going to force Australians out of their comfort zone to become, in order to liberate themselves, Uranus, and to perhaps shake them out of the you know, the rut of dependence on their material goods and comfort with materiality, because we're very prosperous as a country, Australia. Like, people have a very generally high standard of living in Australia, but that's made us comfortable. And, you know, we've never as Australian people had to go through a civil war or anything like that. So Australian people are very well off materially and very comfortable because of it. And really, it's all too dangerous to be that comfortable, if you ask me. And when, I don't know, I hope you don't mind me just going off on a little bit of a tangent here, Tara, but when we look at this whole chart, we've got this conjunction here saying change is coming to the Australian people, for better or worse. And also Pluto on the midheaven could bring, that's going to bring change too. Like Australia's going to go through a massive amount of change in the next year because of these things. The people will feel it. They might need to stand up and, you know, become the Iranian rebels and actually do some activism and start a revolution. But they're going to be dealing with Pluto on the midheaven, the manifestation point for the rules and regulations, the leadership, the governance, and Pluto is, I hate to say it, Pluto is, well, plutocracy is one thing, and Pluto is also totalitarianism, and that's the really negative side of what could unfold here. I hope, and I think we were talking about this just the other day, it's my hope that Pluto shows us the underbelly of the leadership that causes us to say, well, hang on a minute, this is wrong. We need to fire up. We need revolution and we need change in this country, because Pluto has shown us the deceit, the underbelly, the dark side of those in leadership, midheaven, in our country. So that could be another way, and it needs to happen, frankly. Pluto also is, you know, occult and astrology. So there could be that Pluto on the midheaven could indicate, you know, more of an interest in that sort of thing in this country, which would be a positive process, of course, for people to see, you know, discover power. Or maybe it could represent taking power back. I don't know. There's many ways this could manifest for better or worse. But I feel that this conjunction that you're talking to on the moon is very much tied in with the Pluto crossing the midheaven at the same time. Sorry to diverge.
100%. No, I love it. And just on that, like I've been in my research with the South Node in the 7th house in Australia, and the North Node in Aries, the South Node being the dissolving of things. I feel like there's going to be a dissolving of lots of contracts and partnerships and agreements with foreign countries. So
totally.
So Libra being contracts, partnerships, and then Libra's ruler Venus in the 9th house in Sag. So, and going back to that North Node in Aries, back to that simple energy again. And I think Australia needs to start standing up for themselves more. And we've got fire on there and healing and taking our power back and bringing manufacturing back to the country. And, you know, we outsource everything. Like we send our valuable materials and resources overseas, and we're so reliant on foreign countries and the economy. And when that goes belly up, so do the Australian businesses and people. So, yeah, that was just another insight that I had.
Brilliant. I totally agree. I love it when you you share these things, Tara. You're so on point.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that there is going to be bushfires this summer. I mean, they're already talking about it in the mainstream media. They're already warning us about fires, and it's going to be a hot summer. And Libra rules trees and forests. So, yeah, that's a little bit scary to me. That we could have a really intense bushfire season in Australia.
Interesting that when you're not looking at this through whole sign astrology, this chart, that North Node in Aries is actually in the 12th house.
So, yes,
and what is the 12th house? Hidden things.
Hidden, yes.
Things going on behind the scenes. So if it brings bushfires.
And Pluto up on that midheaven.
Yep. It could well be that powers at play are up to no good again.
Yes, yes.
You may not need to say much more than that, lest we
Yep.
get into trouble.
Yeah.
But I think you and I are on the same page with that. So,
100%.
yeah, perhaps a repeat of, what was it, 2020, when we had fires all up and down the East Coast? And how did those things start? Yes. Anyhow.
Exactly. Yeah, so yeah, there's so much more I could say, but I'm gonna leave it at that for Australia.
Beautiful. Okay, we probably need to give people some hope somehow or other. I do, yeah. Look, Tara and I are talking about, like, this is what we're seeing based on what's been happening in things now, like in the media and in our political arena and so forth now, that could lead to these sorts of outcomes. But remember, Uranus is surprising. We could be shocked by what happens. It may not be what we're talking about at all. And so it could be something really positive. Jupiter is a benefic. So let's hope that for the Australian people, Jupiter gets a sudden, Jupiter, the great benefic, with the planet representing the masses, and Uranus, the planet of sudden shocks, brings a wonderful shocking event our way, and revolution that is very much needed to the people. So anyhow, I always like to end on as much positivity as I can, but you just don't know, do you? These planets.
You don't. And Jupiter in a birth chart, in a natal chart, brings it can bring abundance and great wealth. So you just,
we will see.
You just never know.
That's right. All right. So moving on. Now, another chart that I find very, very interesting, and which I'll show in just a minute, is the chart of China. And this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is occurring on the IC of China. I'd love to hear your comments about how you think this might play out. It could be that something is changing deep in the emotional state of China, or the foundation of China is somehow changing, being liberated more, being expanded more. How do you perceive the foundation of China as a country to be? Because it might be going through some very serious inner shifts and changes that mightn't be visible on the surface of things. I'm intrigued to see what that might bring too. We did see in 2020 the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn on the rising degree of China. So certainly this 20 years that cycle runs for, Jupiter-Saturn conjunction lasts 20 years, I think we're going to see China rise up as something of a superpower, and it already is a superpower in the world, but their predominance is going to be solidified over the next 20 years, I believe, because of that conjunction on their ascendant. But I think this Uranus and Jupiter conjunction plays into all of that change that the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction heralded, by changing things structurally down in the core of who China is as a country. On the IC, the lowest point on a chart, the deep foundation of who we all are is seen through the IC. Where we come from, our heritage, our roots, our lineage, that's the IC. And the conjunction here of these two is going to change, liberate, expand, and transform that foundation in China. So do keep an eye. Perhaps I won't show the chart. You can look it up, Google it online. It's quite a fascinating chart, I must say. But do check it out, and keep your eye on what's happening in China. I wouldn't say watch the mainstream news, but certainly look at other sources for news to find out what's going on in China at the moment and how this conjunction might be impacting them. The chart of England and the chart of the USA are not really impacted in any great way by this conjunction. So the two countries I've mentioned, and there may be others, but I've looked at a few countries' charts, and it was mainly Australia and China that were going to be most affected by this conjunction. If you know other countries that are having an impact by this conjunction, do share with us in the comment section, where we can learn from one another's insights. Now, this conjunction is occurring at 21 degrees of Taurus, but at 20 degrees and 52 minutes of Taurus, we have the fixed star Rana. Now, in the ancient Arabic system, Rana, the fixed star, was connected to a love of knowledge, connected to science, connected to travel. Guess what? Jupiter's connected to knowledge. Uranus is connected to science. Jupiter's connected to travel, as is actually Uranus in a very space age kind of way. Uranus is travel. And here's this fixed star tying into all those same themes, like exacerbating and amplifying those things. Rana is also a star of change, just like Uranus brings much change. Rana is also a star of authority. If you have it strong in your natal chart, it brings positions of authority. Jupiter is a very authoritative planet. Jupiter in mythology, king of the gods. I mean, can you get more authoritative than that? Unfortunately, there's some shadow side to Rana as well. And Rana has to do with accidents at sea and drowning. Now, we've already seen some accidents on the water with the bridge collapse that occurred a couple of weeks back in America. And my friend and beloved astrologer Krasi actually mentioned a sort of a war on the sea as a result of eclipse energy. Check out my video with Krasi if you want to hear her predictions that actually have come to pass about that topic. But we could potentially see more of that occurring because of the conjunction of Jupiter-Uranus on Rana, the fixed star. So that's really probably all I can refer to regarding Rana, the fixed star. What about Jupiter-Uranus personally? We've looked at mundane astrology. We've looked at the themes around this energy. We've looked also at the fixed star and a couple of key charts that are happening in on country charts. So what about you? How is Jupiter-Uranus going to be affecting you? Now, remember I said anyone with Jupiter conjunct Uranus in the natal chart is going to feel this in a greater way, along with anyone with the sun, moon, or rising degree or first house lord here. So, how is this going to affect you? You might also feel it otherwise as well. Some people are very tuned in to astrological energy and very sensitive to it. Doesn't matter whether they have planets there or not. So what can we expect? Well, Jupiter-Uranus brings surprises. And I've got to say, usually good surprises. Why? Because Jupiter is the great benefic. He blesses us. He is the planet of good karma from our past life accumulation of good karma. So Uranus being the planet of surprises and shocks and things happening suddenly can just blow us out of the water now with something really wonderful happening, something shocking, something surprising that leaves us smiling from ear to ear. Jupiter-Uranus can bring us sudden opportunities as well. Opportunities pertaining to wherever Taurus falls in your chart. We're going to be talking about this for all signs very, very soon. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction can bring us a personal inner drive for freedom and wanting to break free from where we feel trapped. And for many people who had their lives blow apart in 2010 under this conjunction, that was often the reason behind it. We wanted personal freedom. We wanted to break free from where we were feeling bound, and so our lives turned upside down because of it a lot of the time. Jupiter-Uranus conjunction can bring a sense of rebellion, especially if we feel we've been being mistreated. We can rebel. We can walk away. Or we can, turn away from something now where we've been treated less than we should have been. Some people might receive some sort of financial windfall, a sudden financial windfall that can come your way. Maybe you get a big tax return that you didn't think you'd get, or maybe, somebody sends you a surprise in the mail or something, or you get an inheritance or something happens. This is not really the sign of inheritance, actually. It's probably more money that you have created through something, or through a friendship or an association, or through work that you've done, other mechanisms more so than just an inheritance. Some of you might, if you've got this happening in the 8th house, get an inheritance, but financial windfalls, sudden shocks financially of a good sort can come with this. Some of you might get a possible promotion, like you didn't expect it, you didn't see it coming. Somebody offers you the project of a lifetime, and you excel and you get a promotion, that kind of thing. For some women, If you have Jupiter predominantly in your chart, let's say Jupiter is your Dara Karaka, planet of spouse, it could indicate Jupiter with Uranus, some sudden, unexpected romance comes your way. In the Vedic system, and my teacher Ernst Wilhelm has talked about this, Jupiter is your man in a woman's chart. Generally speaking, there are other indicators for more specific things, but generally Jupiter is your man. And so for some women who, like I said, have Jupiter as a specific indicator as well, they might be up for a bit of a surprising romantic tete-a-tete. Sounds fun. Could be with an existing partner, or it could be with somebody you don't even know yet. This is also an energy personally that can help you feel more open-minded, more explorative. You want to understand things from a greater big picture perspective now, and that can lead to big personal breakthroughs in your life. Some of you might be finding some solutions to old problems that have been hanging around for years, not knowing what to do, how to deal with them, how to change the circumstances, and suddenly, light bulb moment, you're set free. Solutions to old problems come now. Expanded horizons occur for many of us, usually via some sort of unusual, quirky person or an interaction that just came out of the blue, and it'll expand you, and suddenly the scales will fall from your eyes. You'll understand things, you'll see things from a deeper perspective, and wow, liberation. But I'll warn you on that one. Sometimes liberation comes with a cost. When you see the truth, yes, it sets you free, but it also can be really discouraging. So if you're feeling that way, do reach out. Maybe someone else on here can put a virtual arm around your shoulder and be there for you. But just know that if you are waking up to new realities now, you're not alone. The world is waking up at a rapid pace of knots. This could be another factor that just takes us there in leaps and bounds. We're waking up. This is a liberating, mind-expansive energy. I'm excited by this one on a personal level for people. It's also associated with getting out of a rut and breaking free. Do you feel stuck in life? Do you feel like you're spinning your wheels and going nowhere? This is the energy that could shift it all for you. Very exciting. It's a time of new beginnings. Like I said before, a new 14-year cycle begins. Where were you 14 years ago? What started then that's concluding in your life? And let's be excited and perhaps give over to the divine. The intention for this next 14-year cycle to be brilliant, to be growth, to be prosperity, to be abundance, to be happiness, love, and joy, and all the things we want, because this new cycles are exciting new beginnings in life. And this is also an energy of making change without any regrets, walking away from the old that just doesn't fit us anymore. We've outgrown that old shoe. We're going to just toss it out and get on with living. No looking back. This is a time for change without regrets. Our judgments under this energy tend to be quick, fast, solid. We can trust ourselves. We can trust our inner guidance, our inner navigation. It won't lead us astray. So that's what's happening on a personal level, generally speaking. So my friends, it's time for the All Signs Breakdown. Let's have a look at how it's affecting each sign. My friends, let us begin with Aries. No, we're going to start with Taurus, because we're going to start with the first house. And Taurus is where it is at. Okay, Taurus, rising, sun or moon signs. Wow. You guys might get the biggest surprise of your life in your physical body. You might jump on the scales one morning and suddenly that 5 kilos that you've been trying to lose for weeks on end, boom, it's gone. Happy surprises. Woo, thank you. That's not usually Jupiter's style in the first house, but that's where the sudden shocks from Uranus could come in. The first house is a house of physical effects, so that's where you might get sudden surprises. You might also be breaking free of some physical restriction in your life as well. Remember, this energy is about breaking free, having a need for freedom, wanting to break away, wanting to rebel. So for many Taurus people, maybe you felt limited by something in your body or a physical circumstance that you're in. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe you have a twisted ankle from netball or something like that, and it heals really quickly and suddenly, and woo, fantastic. You can get out there jogging and running again. It could be some other restriction that you're experiencing in your physical self. Many Taurus people might experience some sort of healing under this energy. But often it'll come, Uranus is alternative healers. So it's not through going to your mainstream doctors. It's maybe seeing a naturopath or an osteopath, maybe a chiropractor, might be going to the acupuncturist, something like that. Some alternative practitioner could be a source of healing of your body for you now that helps you to break free of some old physical problem that you've been experiencing. Remember, I said this is an energy that can bring solutions to old problems. In this case, it's physical problems. Now, the first house is also the house of how we go about initiating new things. You're going to get sudden inspirations, sudden solutions, sudden aha light bulb moments about entrepreneurial opportunities. First house is entrepreneurism, how we start something and the way we run with it. So it's going to come in a rush. It'll be a brilliant idea. It'll be like one of those goosebump moments. Oh my God, I could do this and it could make me a fortune. Jupiter energy, Uranus ideas. And you need to keep that momentum going, Taurus, to make the most of it. If you get a light bulb moment about an entrepreneurial endeavor that you can run with, keep running. Don't stop. Because this energy, I've got to say, is very erratic. It's on again, off again, on again, off again. Oh, I'm distracted by this. Oh, now I'm looking over here. Now I'm over there. And it's not very consistent. So while the momentum is hot, go. Sprint your little heart out to make that initiate that new endeavor, start that entrepreneurial idea, and don't stop for as long as you can. Give it a red hot crack. And when that energy finally switches off and cools, well, hopefully you've established something by that time that you can just coast with then. Okay? So make the most of it and run while you can with your new idea, your new initiation. This is, like I said, a beginning of a new 14-year cycle. So if you establish, for example, some new entrepreneurial endeavor now, begin something new, start a new, I don't know, it could be a new course of study that you're doing or getting a certificate in something with a view to it becoming some opportunity for you. You know, if you start something now, you're going to start with a bang and really go for it. But it is a 14-year cycle, so it's going to be there ticking away. Maybe at sometimes you'll give it more energy, sometimes you'll give it less, but it's going to be running there over the next 14 years. Remember, 14 years ago was when I took a really big boots and all dive into astrology. I'd known about it and explored a little before then, but I really started to do courses and, just deep dive at that time. 14 years ago. Wow, feels like yesterday. But it's been a source of inspiration ever since, and that's the kind of thing that we can begin now. You might actually, Taurus people, develop a sudden fascination for astrology now and really start running with it, really start integrating it into who you are, becoming very astrological in your being. People might start to say, oh yeah, that person, she's the one really into astrology, isn't she? Uranus energy, Jupiter expansion in the first house of you. Now this is a time when you can really expand your horizon. Some of you Taurus people might be meeting some very quirky, bohemian, interesting people right now that just open your worldview up, help you see the big picture from a very high vantage point, and you get the gist of what's going on in the world in a brand new way. And some of you will be experiencing this from your own awakening process that has happened from no interaction with anybody else. This is the first house of you. Suddenly your awareness, your intuition, your knowledge might just crack open of its own accord. So either it'll be someone else or it'll be you coming to conclusions. What else can we see here? Like I said, change without any regrets. Some of you might be changing habits, behaviors, attitudes now, and just not looking back, not going back to who you were before. You're a completely different person now. The old you is gone, the new has come. You might be having some new motivations that inspire you under this energy as well. Your judgments, as I said, are quick and solid. Trust them. Trust any inspirations that you get. Run with them, as I said. This is also the house of the first impressions that we give, our aura, our energy. Let me just say, for the next week or so, your aura and your energy, Taurus, is going to be quite electrifying. People are going to be magnetized. Jupiter is the great magnetizer, and of course Uranus is electric. So it's this drawing people to you. You are fascinating, you are quirky, you are unique, you are interesting, or at least that's the perception people are going to have about you. They will meet you and they'll be captivated. My God, who is this fascinating person? And of course, that can lead to some dates for some of you who are single. It can lead to a bit of romance. It could lead to a partner recognizing the true beauty in you that maybe they haven't seen for years. There is this electrification and magnetization of who you are. What a wonderful energy to have happening in your first house, Taurus. Exciting. Do enjoy. Okay, thank you, Taurus. Now, moving along, we are going to move on to Gemini, and that puts the lovely conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus in the 12th house. So, for Gemini people, this is a house associated with behind the scenes activity. And it's very interesting. This is going to be fascinating for you, Gemini people, because you might discover that behind the scenes of your life, there's been something going on and suddenly it comes out. The truth comes out. That's what Uranus is. That Uranus is truth. And there might have been some secrets. There might have been some things hidden. You didn't know about them, and suddenly they're exposed to you. They're revealed to you because they just get too big now to be kept quiet. And you discover things. You discover people have been pulling some strings behind the scenes. I would say usually for better, not worse, because this is Jupiter the Great Benefic, of course. So there might be some revelations that are happening to you now that could really liberate you in some way, coming out of some secrets that have been kept. Our past lives are here, and Jupiter is the god of past life good karma. So you might get some sudden blessing, some sudden opportunity that comes your way out of something you've done in the past. Let's say when you were a teenager, you donated some money to some worthy cause, and lo and behold, all those years ago when you were a teenager, somebody benefited because you donated some money or some time or something. You did something charitable, 12th house. Now, whoever was blessed by that might come back into your life and give you, like maybe you donated $1,000, they're going to give you $1,000 back. You know, there is potential for windfalls financially with this. There's good karma coming back to you just when you need it. With this energy, stuff coming back from the past to bless us. Not just financially, although Jupiter is finance and so is Taurus, but it could be something else too. It could be somebody puts in a good word for you because years ago you did the right thing by them. You know, somebody gives you a chance for a new promotion because when they were just starting out, you were the one who, you know, helped teach them the ropes or something. There is reward for your good endeavors and your charitable deeds that can come back in a surprising, unexpected way now. This is also, like I said, it's past lives. It's also karma. Jupiter is good karma. We've already talked about that. It's a moksha house. This is a house where it's very much about letting things go. Now, often in the Vedic system, you'll hear the 12th house referred to as a house of loss. And that has sort of very heavy negative connotations. When we lose something, we're always sad, we're frustrated, we're disappointed, we can't find it. Now we really miss that thing. Now, that is actually, to my mind, the more negative verbiage or wordage to use. This is a house of letting it go. And that has a much better connotation than a house of loss. So for many people, there is some sudden, unexpected, out of the blue ending that happens now that's going to be liberating for you. Uranus is liberation. Jupiter expands that energy of liberation. So practice the acceptance needed to walk away from old things that have outlived their time in your life. That's true alchemy, when we can just accept and move on and go with the flow. This is an exciting time because it's a concluding time. It's a wrapping things up time. It's a letting go time. And it's because of Uranus and Jupiter energy, it's going to really be shaking you out of a rut, breaking you free. It's going to lead you into a whole new beginning that's going to unfold over the next 14 years. You're not going to have another Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in your 12th house ever again in your lifetime, my Gemini friends. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And so really, it's shedding your old self, your old past lives, your old behaviors, your old insecurities, self-destructive attitudes, any self-sabotaging. This is an energy for liberating yourself from those things, taking responsibility, changing your values, Taurus, to embrace the new that is so empowering. I'm excited for you guys. Now, this could happen in a multitude of different ways, but that is the gist of this energy. Acceptance of the letting go, the moksha, the liberation that occurs. So this is a liberation moksha house, and of course Uranus is a liberation planet. So big changes. You may need more sleep to cope, but I will just say, Gemini, it might be harder to get that sleep because this is a very electric energy, and you might find that you're awake at night around the 20th of April. You can't sleep, you put on one of Kesenya's YouTube talks and not even it puts you to sleep. Oh my God, what are you going to do? Try some white noise. That doesn't really help. Insomnia. Okay. So if that happens, I don't know, grab a book, make the most of it, get some reading done, and know that it's not a permanent state of being. It's a cycle that will pass. This is a house of sleep. It's going to be just more difficult to get some sleep because of the amplification of this electric energy. But I would encourage you to take it easy. Maybe might go for a bit of a trip somewhere, jump on a plane for a weekend and see where it takes you. Uranus is air travel. Jupiter is, going to faraway places. Take a mystery flight. Have a bit of fun and relax. Go to the beach, chill out, even if sleeping is a little bit more difficult. The 12th house is privacy, seclusion, and prayer. I would encourage you to live those things a little under this energy. You'll probably cope with it better if you were to allow a bit, yourself a little bit of private time to pray, time to meditate, time to do a ritual if that's what you're into. Jupiter is religious practices, not religion itself, or it can be at the lower vibrational level, but the practices that take us closer to spirit are seen through the planet Jupiter. So I indulge in those things. They can be very awakening and very liberating. So that's really what I'm seeing for my beautiful Gemini friends. What an exciting energy, and the beginning of a whole new 14-year cycle that could really change your life because you have learnt to let go and shed that skin, that part of you that's been holding you back from the life you really want to live authentically. Lovely, lovely. Okay, Cancer rising, Cancer sun, Cancer moon people. We are looking at this fabulous once-in-a-lifetime conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus in your 11th house. Woo! I love this. Cancer, this is one of the blessing houses. It's one of the wealth houses. This is the house of how we can be profitable and gainful. And I've mentioned in the introduction to this video that around the 20th of April, when this conjunction is occurring, some people might be lined up to get some sort of financial windfalls. Well, this is you, Cancer, in the house of gainfulness. So it could be that maybe, your painting that, it's been for sale in the art gallery for years suddenly sells and boof, you get $1,000 in your pocket or something. Some windfall from what you've been putting out there in the world, whatever that looks like, films, books, art, music, poetry, whatever you do that you contribute to the world with. And I've used some artistic expressions there, but it could be anything. Maybe you're a town planner or something. Maybe you write policy for government. Whatever it is that you do, that you put out there in the world, this could be the source of some financial windfall now. Very, very exciting for Cancer people in that regard, particularly if you have your 11th house manifestation point at 21 degrees or any planets there at 21 degrees as well. Now, this is also the realm of the chart that tells us how we can go about achieving our dreams. Here in slow and steady and plodding Taurus, maybe that's the approach you've always had to take towards achieving your dreams, but along comes Uranus Jupiter conjunction, and suddenly that takes a back seat and you slam that car into top gear, you head on down the highway, it's all systems go. Heading towards your dreams, suddenly screeching off down the highway like you're Jesse out of Breaking Bad in the final scene. Away you go. This is exciting. And a big change from the pace that you usually would be moving towards your goals and dreams with. A bit more slower and plodding in Taurus. Now it all happens. So that's actually the energy that you have to approach this with too. If you, if there's an opportunity for you to pursue your dream in some way, you've got to run for it while the energy's hot, while the electricity is on. Uranus electricity, Jupiter switching it up to full, like Marty McFly in the beginning of Back to the Future, and he turns that amplifier right up to the top sound level and blows himself away. That's what you've got to do. You've got to go for it while the energy is at its peak, because that energy can switch off at any moment. This is quite a electrifying energy. So make the most of it while it is charging. Okay, unfortunately, this is also the realm of the chart Cancer, where it has to do with the desires that we have that can ruin our mental peace. And Uranus does have to do with our mental activity. Uranus is often connected to genius type understanding, intuitives and what have you, but also Uranus often has connections to things like dyslexia and ADHD and that kind of stuff as well in certain places in the chart and in certain combinations. And here in the house of our dreams and desires that can ruin our mental peace, with this there could be just like I kind of described for Gemini, but it's also true for Cancer. You might be having sleepless nights because you're just imagining, look, when I start my business or I do this project, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and your brain just doesn't switch off. So maybe have some strategies up your sleeve. What do I need to do? And I can't sleep at night because my brain's just running on, overload. What do you need to do? Like I said for Gemini, switch on one of Kesenya's YouTube videos and fall asleep to that. Other things, having a book to read by the bed, or maybe just giving up altogether and going and watching a movie at 2 a.m. or something. Whatever you need to do to help your mind cope. Be kind to yourself. It's a cycle. It's not a permanent state of being, okay? That said, the dreams that you begin now, you're going to be able to start with a bang, big explosion, and away you go. But they may last for the next 14 years. So you might be working on these things from time to time over the next 14 years. There might be some new networks that come into your field, some new subcultures that you start interacting with, some new people groups that you make connections with now under this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction that will be playing an important role in your life for the next 14 years, having a very strong bearing on who you are and how you develop over the next 14 years. This is the house of networks, it's the house of subcultures, and so forth. So, who you meet at this time is very, very important, Very, very important. They're going to play a pivotal role, maybe even be a benefactor for you going forward over the next 14 years. They might be the source of some sort of promotion down the track for you. If you're a woman, you might be meeting your third marriage partner, if that's what you're looking for under this energy as well. Somebody, a friend usually in the 11th house, might be the source of a solution to some old problem you've been battling with. They might give you an epiphany moment that leads to some sort of breakthrough in your life, and suddenly the penny drops, you understand things from a bigger perspective, you see the truth, you have an awakening experience because one of your quirky friends said something random and it just dug into your brain like a worm in June going through the sand dunes, and boom, you just have this like, oh my gosh, of course, this is the truth, this is what's setting me free. You see things differently. And this is coming from your networks, this is coming from a friend, this is coming from other people who cause you to make changes without regrets, move in a different direction now. This is an Upachaya house. It's a house of things getting better as time goes on, things getting better with age, of course. And so what is established now over the next 14 years is going to just get better and better and better, generally speaking, for people with the conjunction in the 11th house. So that's very exciting as well. This is a house of groups. Some of you might be invited to join a group now. That could be the local golf club, or it could be that you're invited to join some secret society. They're not usually seen from the sign of Taurus or the 11th house, but they're a club, so that could happen for some people. This is a time when you're invited to make connections that are very unusual, that you wouldn't usually make, that are something of a shock or a surprise, like, oh, I never thought I'd get involved with a group like that. This is also an energy of rebelliousness. In the house, connected to protesting and connected to humanitarian causes. So you might get very passionate now, Cancer, about standing up for the underdog, for people who are maligned, for humanity in general, and going on a protest march or saying something online or really starting to speak up to your friends or family when usually you keep quiet. This is an energy of taking it out there in a bolder, bigger way than you might have done before, because Uranus is the planet of rebelliousness being amplified by Jupiter in the house that has to do with humanitarian causes. And my God, do we need you Cancer people to stand up like never before? We all need to stand up, but you guys can lead the way in standing up against a lot of the atrocities that are occurring in the world right now. Jupiter is good karma from past lives. You might have some lucky opportunities to do this where, it doesn't go against you. It actually works in your favor to take a stand for humanity now. So Cancer, use your good judgment, trust your gut, and make a call. You guys are positioned in such a place for a time like this in the world right now, with this conjunction in the 11th house of breaking people free, getting them out of a rut. You Cancer can be the cause of setting, the captives free, as the Bible says, but also maybe your friends. I've talked about your friends giving you something, a seed that plants in your mind and it sets you free. What about you being the one to, care enough about your friends and companions in the world to say, hey, maybe this is a better option for you. Maybe you could look at this as a path to go down. Maybe have you thought about this perspective on this topic? You could even be devil's advocate with them and see where it leads, because this is an energy where you might be the one setting people free, breaking them out of a rut, helping them to make change and see the world from a new perspective. This is also the energy of new beginnings, sudden, shocking new beginnings. And so what it can represent is maybe leaving some friendships behind, changing friendship circles, realizing you've outgrown an old friendship to make space for a new friendship. This is actually the house of the loss of loss. What do I mean by that? Well, it's the 12th house from the 12th. It means the 12th house is connected to endings and conclusions, and this house is the end of the endings. So, when we are no longer losing things, we're gaining things, and things don't stay stagnant. So for many of you, this can be a time for making new friendships that fill the void of an old friendship that's gone. The end of the loss of the friendship by somebody else coming into your life. Somebody filling that void for a friendship or connection, companionship. Somebody filling that void for, having a good network. It can sometimes, although not so much with Uranus. Uranus is the new. I was going to say sometimes if this was Saturn here, I'd say you might get an old friend coming back, and that's the end of the loss of that friendship. They may come back. Saturn is things that come back, but not with Uranus. Uranus is the new. So I do feel that it'll be new friends stepping into the place of old friendships that have outlived their useful use-by date. So Cancer, that's the gist of what I'm seeing this Uranus and Jupiter conjunction doing for you. Now, my lovely Leos, Leo, 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 what is happening in your world? Well, this is happening on this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus is happening on an angular house. It's in the 10th house, the house of career for many Leos. Whew, this is an exciting thing. When something's angular, it tends to manifest more powerfully. Now, doubly so if you happen to have your 10th house manifestation point at 21 degrees, or if you've got the sun or the moon or your midheaven there as well, or any other of the planets I've spoken about. On the 20th of April, this conjunction is occurring, but you might feel it sort of a week before that or a week after that. This is a time when my Leo friends can get some sudden opportunity come their way in career. You know, you've been putting yourself out there for years, you know, sharing your knowledge on YouTube. I'm a Leo sun. Who knows, but some sudden opportunity might land in your lap as a result of all the hard work you're putting out there in the world. Could be that you're putting out videos on YouTube. It could be that you're, doing good work as the CEO of a bank, or, the manager of a department somewhere, and you're doing good work time and time and time again. And suddenly with this conjunction in your house of career, somebody recognizes it, somebody appreciates it, somebody gives you the opportunity of a lifetime to progress even more. There's surprises that come here. It's out of the blue. You didn't see it coming. Usually good surprises. Now, I've talked about career opportunities, but could also be that a boss, or some person in authority or in a respectful position over you does something wonderful for you, helps you break out of a situation of being stuck. You know, you've been feeling like your efforts are just bouncing off the brass ceiling, and suddenly along comes this boss and just opens that trap door in the ceiling, and away you go. You're up and up to the next level, you know. I don't know what I'm referring to there. Sorry, that's just an analogy that came through. But anyway, there can be promotions that happen here that incur sudden windfalls. This is the realm of getting money, or this is the energy of getting surprising, unexpected money as a reward for the career that you are doing. So, you might suddenly get a whole lot of new clients, or somebody donates some money to your cause or your project or something like that. There can be a great growth in success here. What else can happen? This is a house of what we need to do in order to be successful. And Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is to try something new, The time of new beginnings is what this is about. It's about change with no regrets. I would suggest trust your judgments. As I said in the intro, they are quick and they are solid. You need to trust yourself, trust your judgments, and also be innovative, be quirky, come up with, new approaches to things. Uranus is to do things from a very left of center kind of manner, and Jupiter is going to expand this energy. Don't be afraid to put some quirky, unusual idea forward at your, brainstorming meeting at work or whatever, because it could just be the best thing that's ever happened to your career and to your company. It could take you forward in leaps and bounds. That's the energy that you need to display to be successful. A bit quirky, a bit unique, a bit left of center, but truly original. That's also how you can get recognition and success under this energy. I would even suggest if you have at all a sort of a rebellious, stick it to the man kind of attitude, you might get recognition for that takes you to the next level, because that's Uranus energy. It says, I want to be liberated. I don't want to be tied down by restrictions and boundaries. I'm going to do it my way, or I'm going to liberate myself and be authentic here. And in doing so, in embracing that energy, you can actually obtain more success in career, I would suggest. And of course, this is the beginning of a brand new 14-year cycle that's starting. So you might get some surprising solution to some problem you've had in career. Maybe you're sick of the career you work in. This is an energy of starting a whole new career for some Leos. You're sick and tired of working for other people, or, playing by the rules in a certain field, and you're like, that's it, I'm going out on my own, I'm going to do it my way. This energy is very much one for people who want to go and be their own consultant, start their own business, and liberate themselves from the same old organization. Taurus doesn't mind working for a hierarchy. Taurus doesn't mind working for a structural organization, a pyramid organization. Taurus doesn't care. But along comes Uranus and Jupiter conjunction here, and it says, enough with that. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to take this structure, this organization, I'm going to use what I've learnt there, and I'm going to start a consultancy firm doing it the way I think it should be done. It's very much an independent career move that comes out of this energy. So if you've been thinking about this, Leo, this could start a whole new 14-year cycle going down that road that might happen for some of you. Now, bosses and father figures, your parents-in-law, they're all seen from this house in the horoscope. And this is a combination of energy that can see them experiencing big changes in life. Certainly my parents are going through big changes. This is the axis of parents, but it's also the house of parents-in-law. Now, in the case of my parents and my father, he's always worked on the farm that he's owned for the last 50 years. That's coming to a sudden screeching halt as my parents move off the farm and retire into town. So that's a big change. Uranus is big changes that really kind of almost didn't see coming at the start of the year. It's been sort of a sudden decision and a bit of a whirlwind. Very much the nature of this energy. It was actually instigated also by the eclipse, but this energy is playing into how quickly things are happening, how shockingly fast this eventuality is unfolding for my father and my mother as well, by opposition to the fourth house. Let me just hold this. It's wanting to have a little bit of a walk. Thank you, Leo. So there's changes, but that could also be happening to your bosses. And like I said, there's the house of parents-in-law as well. This is the house of leadership and public approval and visibility. Some of you, Leo people, might be getting more visibility on the internet. Uranus is the internet. Jupiter is to expand something, blow it up out of all proportion. More public approval now. More chances to be a leader in your field, Leo. Very, very exciting. It's also the house of our responsibilities and social obligations. I would suggest with this combination that you're breaking free now from some responsibilities and social obligations that have kept you weighed down maybe for the last 14 years. Maybe you had heavy duties, Leo, heavy responsibilities that were, you're fine for you to do, you're happy to do them, but they kept you contained. And lo and behold, along comes this energy 14 years later, the end of a cycle, and suddenly whoosh, you can break free from that feeling of containment or that having to, wait for certain things or having to do your duty, having to do your responsibility. Now things lighten up and your good karma comes back to bless you with leadership, with public visibility, with public approval, gaining more respect, gaining more success in the world, either through a career or through some legacy that you want to leave. This 10th house is a house not just of, what you do for a living to pay the bills. The 10th house is your aspirations for the legacy you want to leave. Maybe you want to be remembered by writing a beautiful poem or being a great dad, or maybe you want to be remembered for having the hottest car in town or something. Whatever it is that is your legacy that you want to leave and be remembered for, that's 10th house. So there can be a real momentum now, an opportunity that comes your way to move towards the legacy that you want to leave, what you want to be known for, what you want to be remembered for. It could be a quality of who you are. It could be, I want to leave a legacy of a beautiful garden or whatever. Many, many ways that can play out. Only you know what the legacy is you want to leave, Leo. What inspires us is seen through the 10th house as well. And you might get inspiration now from off the internet. You're looking around on the internet one day, you see somebody who's doing the most amazing work, and it's like, wow, that's so uplifting. That's fantastic. I'm going to follow their YouTube channel or their Instagram art page or whatever it is, and you get inspired. Somebody comes along who's quirky, unique, left of center, not afraid to be authentically true to themselves, and they inspire you. This is an energy that also asks the question, Leo, how can you be an inspiration to other people? What can you do to be your authentic, liberated, quirky, unique, creative self, to lift others up and to see how incredible we humans are on the planet? So think about it. Ask yourself the question. Take time to journal and ponder over it. How are you best suited to be an inspiration to others? In what way are you unique? And in doing so, I feel that Uranus conjunct with Jupiter is going to give you an aha moment that's going to take you forward in life, Leo. So exciting. Well, thank you, Leo. Moving along to Virgo. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, or Virgo moon people. Well, lovely Virgos are having the conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus occurring in their 9th house. Now, for some Virgos, this is likely to bring some sort of good sudden surprise their way, sudden opportunity their way, maybe with some travel situation. Maybe you've been waiting for a visa. Maybe you are wanting to go and be an exchange student somewhere or immigrate to another country. Lo and behold, along comes this energy and makes the path clear for you, makes it smooth. This is the energy of good karma and sudden opportunities, sudden surprises. So maybe you've been hoping for that all along and boom, the path is made clear. Maybe you've been wanting to relocate to another country, Virgo. And although having Taurus here as a fixed sign, we're less likely to want to move. We tend to stay in the country of our birth, but Uranus can shake us out of a rut. If we've been feeling trapped, if we've been feeling mistreated where we're living, we're going to be like, that's it, I'm done, I'm gone, out of here. And we move to a foreign country or a different cultural environment under this energy. This is also the house that has to do with our grandchildren. Now, Virgo, if you happen to have grandchildren, they might be experiencing some sort of form of liberation or freedom. Maybe they get a sudden financial windfall from you as their grandparent. They might get, your grandchildren might be feeling a need that they need to break free in life out of something. They're sick of dealing with the old humdrum in a certain area of life, and they break free. Some of your grandchildren might be getting new opportunities to go to university, which is a 9th house energy, of course, and expand their horizons. Some of your grandchildren might be expanding their horizons through meeting interesting, quirky, unusual people who show them a type of world that they never even knew existed. So a lot of this for Virgo people might be experienced by their grandchildren. It's also the house of second life partner. And if you're a woman listening to this, Jupiter represents your man in Vedic astrology. In a conjunction of Jupiter, your man, generally speaking, with Uranus in the house of the second life partner, it could mean for some of you, you'd need other things happening in your chart. I explore all those things in my love readings, of course. But if you've got enough other things coming together at the same time, Virgo, this energy could be triggering for you a new partner, a second life partner, if that's what you're looking for, meeting someone. Or it could be indicating an amping up of romance and electricity between you and an existing second life partner. If you're married for the second time, this could be you, where things are electrified and magnetized between you and you're turned on by your partner again like you haven't been for years. This is an energy, the combination of these two is about finding truth and freedom and liberation. And this house is about finding meaning, purpose, truth, and liberation as well. So I think a lot of you Virgo people are going to get light bulb moments, aha, like the switch goes on, you get it, you see the big picture, you understand your dharma now. So take the time, Virgo, to do some journaling, some introspective work, some thinking, some praying, some talking to God or your higher self, because the truth is waiting to be delivered to you. This is a message from the divine in the 9th house that could come through to you now that will set you free and break you out of a rut with where you're at, help you find your meaning, help you find your purpose. This is also the house of the big picture, the big patterns in life. You're going to have an ability to see how the big cycles of life are affecting you, and that's going to influence your future visions and goals, how you're going to get there. You'll be able to see the big picture. I want to go here. What steps have I got to take to be in that position? And it's going to be made clear to you now. If you take the time to ponder, meditate, research, and think about how you're going to get there. It's about seeing the big picture and knowing how to get from A to B. This is also the 5th house from the 5th. So again, it's a house that has to do with good karma, as does Jupiter. So really this is in Vedic they call it the house of blessing, the 9th house. So big, surprising opportunities that are good karma for you. Often though, that good karma will come for you, Virgo, if you're in another country or from another country. Maybe, let's say you're, selling astro wheels and somebody contacts you from Japan and they say, hey, I want 10 of your astro wheels, I'm going to sell them in my shop. And lo and behold, what an opportunity for you to do something internationally, on an international level, that is going to bless you and be a blessing to other people as well. Good karma. Good karma comes from that. So eureka moments, deep understanding, coming into our dharma in a sudden, unexpected but delightful way, and getting more of our purpose and mission by breaking free of the old cycle. Remember, this is starting a whole new 14-year cycle and you're ending an old 14-year cycle. You're breaking free of that cycle now and moving into new opportunities. Very, very wonderful time of new beginnings. This could mean a new beginning in another country, a new beginning with a course of study of some sort of higher knowledge, higher learning. To do so is going to really be of service to you under this energy. Even if you're going to just do it slowly, little bit by bit over the next 14 years, to start studying something under this energy, you're going to get it. It's going to make sense to you, especially astrology. The 9th house is higher learning. Virgo, Jupiter has to do with a higher level understanding and a big picture perspective, and both these planets are to do with genius, and of course Uranus rules astrology. If you have all wondered, should I do Kesenya's Royal Stars Academy? Well, there's never been a better time, and you can do it as quickly as you want. And indeed, with this energy, it would pay you to start off running going like a rocket ship as fast as you can to begin with, because the energy can blow out pretty fast. But you might be tinkering over the next 14 years with moving through a course, understanding some higher concept bit by bit by bit over the next 14 years as this cycle plays out. So you can join me if you want to by going to the link in the description below, or you might just be more interested in doing one of my short courses at the Learn Astrology page at the website. Or you might go and join a university or a philosophy group or something where you can study something at a higher level and come to a new perspective, a new moral viewpoint of things because of this energy. Very exciting time of new beginnings in that way. Thank you. Now to Libra, Libra rising, Libra sun, or Libra moon people. Oh, Libra, Libra, Libra. We have the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter, not Saturn, Jupiter, falling in the 8th house. Now, this is a house of sudden changes and surprises, and this is an energy of sudden changes and surprises. So, oh my gosh, hang on for the ride. This is going to be a doozy, Libra. Life's going to turn around for you like 180 degrees. Let's say you've been stressing all last year because of certain circumstances, maybe in work or relationships or family relationships and that kind of stuff. Along comes this conjunction, this rapid fire, fast, sudden, exciting, filled with, good karma conjunction in your 8th house of change and windfalls and big turns around, and boom, you are living the life you never dreamed you'd live. It's exciting. I'm excited to be a Libra coming into this energy for sure. Now, this is a house of windfalls. That can be, windfalls in terms of money, yes, because it is a house of inheritance. So that could happen surprisingly and out of the blue for some Libran people. But it also could be getting external sources of assistance. Now, yes, that can be money, but it could also be tax breaks. Opportunities, like people that want to invest in you and they say, contact you and say, hey, we want to back you and help you mass produce something, or we really believe in what you're doing and we're going to be your benefactor. Business loans come from the 8th house, of course. So you might be able to get that loan to expand your business or do more with your life that you've always wanted to do under this energy. It could be that somebody gives you the moral support, or maybe somebody offers you to sit their house for 6 months while they go travel Europe. That sort of thing. This is the house of other people's resources, and you are the benefactor of other people's resources, Libra, in a beautiful, benevolent, and sudden, surprising way here. Now, if you've been stuck in a rut, Libra, in any way in life, doing the same old, running like a mouse on the little treadmill, well, this is a time when you're going to break free. In fact, if you've been feeling stuck for 14 years while this last cycle of Uranus-Jupiter played out, it is ending now. It is coming to a conclusion. You are about to make a brand new start. So think back to 14 years ago. Where were you? And in what ways have you been feeling like the mouse on the treadmill, stuck in a rut, like your wheels are bogged in the mud? That's where things are going to conclude now. That's where things are going to shift and the energy is going to change. You're going to find some solutions to old problems now. Maybe a solution to some old business loan that you need to take out. Maybe a solution to some inner psychological problem you've been battling with here in the 8th house. Maybe something you've been keeping a secret might be the case, and you actually have an opportunity to make a change now. You have an opportunity to finish that secret, to end it, to break free of that secret that you've been carrying around. This is a chance for you to have some a movement forward into your future without any regrets, no looking back, and it's going to happen quick and it's going to be fast. It could leave you reeling, even though it's good. It could leave you going, oh my God, like last week I was living in Melbourne. Now I've suddenly started, my move to Vancouver, and it's just that polarically different, You might get sudden spiritual awakenings that happen with this energy too. This is a very shamanic house. Suddenly you see the truth. You can see the deep motivations behind people. You understand why certain things have happened in the world the way they have, and you see it clearly, perhaps for the first time ever. Let me warn you, Libra. That sort of awakening can leave you very disillusioned with the state of the world right now when you start to realize the connections and what's really been going on. So as I said earlier, to a different sign, I forget who it was I was talking about, but if you need a shoulder to lean on, perhaps, send me a message on my contact page through the website. I've been through that awakening process, probably still going through some of it, to be honest, and it is shocking. You might wake up to the fact that your religion has pulled the wool over your eyes. You might wake up to the fact that everything you've been told by the media is a lie. This is the 8th house. It's about secrets. It's about conspiracies. It's about hidden motivations that aren't clear until your eyes are opened. So some of you are in for a big, rapid awakening, fast awakening, shocking awakening. If you're not coping, send me an email. I can't guarantee I'll respond to everybody, but when I was waking up, I was very lucky to have some people around me who were already awake, let's say, and that helped enormously. Otherwise, it can be very isolating, okay? So all compassion to you, my Libra friends. Now, this is also the house of sex. Let's talk about something else to do with the 8th house. House of sex, Libra. You're lucky. Like this is a opportunities, blessing. It's experimentation with Uranus here that gets blown up. Like you're going to have so much fun. Jupiter is your joy. Jupiter is jovial, and it's amplifying the energy of experimentation and sexual, alternative approaches to it. So this is lots of fun. It's experimentative. It is explorative. It's open-minded. It's getting you out of a rut. It's breaking you free. If you felt at all stuck sexually, for however long, then this is your energy. This energy is your friend to help you wake up again. So awakening not only in the mental realm, but in the physical realm, or rather the sexual realm. So, woo! Aren't you lucky, Libra? Fun times to be had. This is the house of how we receive from others. We've talked a little bit about the windfalls and things, but also how we receive from the universe. And of course, Jupiter is good karma. So you're going to receive from the universe, Libra, in a sudden, surprising, unexpected way that is full of blessing and luck. Jupiter, the planet of luck. Jupiter, the planet of abundance. Jupiter, the planet of good karma. So the universe has your back now. Again, if you need to make any decisions, trust your instinct, trust yourself. You can rely on what your intuition is telling you now with this happening in the 8th house. Now, some of you, this is also a house of healing. Mostly it has to do... So the 6th house is practical healing. The 12th house is miraculous. This is very much psychological healing. So some of you might be having some deep psychological revelations that heal your soul. An understanding, just an inner knowing that sets you free now, breaks you free from some psychological burden that you've been carrying. A renewal energy. In fact, this is the house of reinvention, reactivation, and renovation. You're renovating yourself in a fast and rapid way. You're going to really up level, I think, Libra. This is such a, and at a rapid pace. It could leave you exhausted. So do take care of yourself, Libra, and be kind to yourself now, because the rapid pace of change here is just, be ready. Be ready. Be kind to yourself. Big changes that are coming your way. Spiritual changes, mystical changes. It's a house of initiation. You are being guided by the universe into a brand new state of being. And this energy is going to be at play in various ways for the next 14 years. Yes, it might start off with a bang. This energy is pretty full on to begin with. Over the next couple of weeks or so, you might start to feel this shift. I think I've already been feeling it already, which is kind of cool. But then you will begin to sort of dabble with it on and off again over the next 14 years. So get ready, my friends. This is an exciting phase of life that you're embarking on now, Libra. Very excited and happy to tell you that. Scorpio rising, sun and moon people. Well, this is a 7th house energy that is playing out for you. And this means good surprises coming from a partner. Now, this could be a business partner. Maybe your business partner shows up at work one day, coffee in hand and donuts, and says, guess what? I've just invested in something or other, whatever it happens to be, and it's come in a winner. And we are partying today with our coffee and donuts. Might get the champagne out later, not at 9 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, good surprises from partners, business partners, marriage partners, your audience, your clients, somebody else. 7th house is somebody else. Somebody else comes in with some good news. Somebody else gives you a sudden opportunity, Scorpio, to bless your life, change your life. Somebody else gives good karma into your life. The good karma you have earned now comes back to you and is gifted to you from somebody else. This is very much the 7th house energy. Somebody else is going to be a bit quirky, a bit unusual, and they're going to expand your horizons. They're going to break you free. Now, this might happen on the 20th of April, but it could also play out over the coming 4 weeks or so, maybe even a bit longer than that, as these two planets begin to separate, and then Jupiter eventually moves into Gemini. But this energy, it'll come in rapidly, but you mightn't notice it until you were a week in. Don't expect like suddenly out of the blue it hits you on the 20th of April like a ton of bricks. For people who are Libran, they might feel it that way because it's in the house of rapid change. But here in Taurus, a slower moving sign in the 7th house, it's likely to come in a bit infiltratingly. Surprising, yes, but it'll be like, oh, wow, that's so cool, and you'll see it start to play out more and more as the weeks progress. Now, if you have felt mistreated by anybody else, this energy will help you break free, and really you'll feel within you a need for freedom. So sometimes For some of you Scorpio people, it can indicate that you've had enough of a relationship. It's time for it to end. That business partnership, if he thinks bringing donuts and coffee in is a form of celebration for his, multi-million-dollar windfall, then think again, buddy. Where's the champagne, This is an energy where you're like, you've had enough. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. It could be that in a marriage, that things have just been so bad for so long, and suddenly you realize, I can't do this anymore. Enough. And you break free. It could be that you're in a marriage and it's been so stale and dry and, tumbleweed city for so long, and then along comes this energy and suddenly it amps up gives you a solution to these problem of crickets chirping whenever the partner walks into the room or something. And now it's much more like, hang on, I'm curious about this person. Now I actually want to know how this person's changed and grown over the last 10 years, because I feel like we haven't even talked. We've been raising kids, we've been doing our career. Who is this person I'm married to? And you get curious about this person. You get open-minded about this person again. You have a breakthrough. You get out of a rut with the relationship. Doesn't necessarily mean the relationship will end, if you're willing to experiment and explore and find out about where this person is at right now and who they are right now in their life. But it takes two to tango. There needs to be sort of a mutual going both ways with that interest in each other. Some of you might be seeing an amplification of romance in an existing relationship that might come your way. And it'll be sudden, shocking romance that you were like, hang on, I didn't even think they had a romantic bone in their body. And for women, Scorpio rising women, Jupiter in Vedic astrology represents, generally speaking, your man or a significant man in your life. And so some of you might even meet a significant man now who's going to play an important part in your life in helping you to understand yourself and open you up to new experiences and expand your soul in some way, your mind, your heart, your body in some way. The Jupiter energy here can bring all that about too. But it's really going to happen to get you out of a rut of either singleness or a shitty relationship or transforming a relationship into something better that you're in. There is change here. Each of those things, those scenarios I've just painted, are talking about change in collaboration and partnership. So very, very important time. Now, this is the things that we attract from other people. You might be attracting quirky behavior, unusual behavior. You might be attracting, shocking behavior, rebellious behavior, surprising behavior, are some of the energies of Uranus and Jupiter. You might be attracting that not just from partners, but from your clients. You tell them, oh, that'll be, $80 for your massage today. And they go, $80, what a ripoff. And they get rebellious. And, it's not necessarily an energy of anger, but Uranus is rebellion. And, you could have told them it was $20 and they might rebel under this energy against that. So be forewarned, forearmed. There is a shadow side to this where, people can be rebellious towards you. They can be acting out in unusual ways around you. They might be acting very strange around you, not their usual self, being sort of weird around you. That's the shadow side of this energy, okay? It is a house of open enemies, our opponents in life. That could be sporting opponents, legal opponents, career opponents. We actually see through the 7th house because it's people opposite to us. Now, people opposite to us can be our partners who actually have our back and balance us out, but it can also be our competitors, like I said, depending how this energy is expressing. So here you might have a shocking situation with a legal opponent. Maybe they do something out of the blue. Generally speaking, I think it's going to be positive because Jupiter's a benefic. So it could be that your legal opponent decides they want to settle out of court. End of legal case. Make a new start in life. Fresh, turn over a new leaf. Begin a new cycle. That kind of thing. It could be some career opponent gets a job at a different company and they're no longer around and you don't have to worry about them sort of, taking all your best projects or whatever else they do. So there can be change for the good because something happens to an opponent in your life. This is actually a house of publicity as well. It's how we approach public relations. And I would suggest, if this is important to you, that you approach things with an innovative frame of mind, a creative frame of mind, open to doing quirky things in terms of, publicity. Now, I'm not saying, I think, back in the day when I was a kid, you'd watch the cricket in the summer, and there'd always be a streaker. Almost every year, somebody decide they want to get their kid off and run across the field. I'm not talking about that sort of publicity, although it probably does fit this bill. Uranus doing something really quirky and out of the box and gets you a lot of attention. But there are better ways to do it than, getting your kid off and running onto the soccer field or the cricket field or whatever. But yes, publicity and public relations, something shocking, something unusual, something out of the box, something you wouldn't ordinarily do, can bring you a lot of publicity now and promotion now. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, if you're looking to be seen, approach things from a different perspective. Put your thinking cap on and come up with some unique, innovative, original idea and see what it does for you. This is a house of balance and fairness and justice as well, Scorpio. I would say this energy is not the most balanced. It's pretty full on. It's full of luck and opportunity, and I would say blessing as well, but it's pretty extreme. It's a roller coaster. So this could feel somewhat upsetting. Your house of balance in your usual solid old Taurus is going to feel, because planets are stronger than signs in a house, so you're going to feel like the boat's rocking a bit, like, wow, hang on, 1 minute I'm up, 1 minute I'm down, or maybe my circumstances are up 1 minute and then they're down. It's going to be feeling a little bit rocky for a couple of weeks, I would suggest. So hang on for the ride, knowing that coming out the other side is likely to be some opportunity, some luck, some good karma coming your way, and some blessing. So that is really what I'm feeling into for the 7th house for Scorpio people. Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people. As always, Saggy wants to go for a walk, so let me just slow him down there. Okay, Sagittarius is having the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in your 6th house. Now, this is one of the difficult houses in astrology. It's an earthly house. It represents the daily activities that we do in the body and our physical well-being and health and how we care for our bodies. So some of you might be finding, maybe if you've had a health issue or a health problem, or your body hasn't been up to some of the daily activities that you've been required to do, suddenly there might be a healing. And usually it'll come through some alternative practitioner. Uranus is alternatives, and Jupiter is people with higher knowledge. So it could be a naturopath, it could be an acupuncturist, it could be a reflexologist, somebody who does things that's not quite mainstream. And so you do have an opportunity here to care for your body in an alternative way that's going to bring you blessing. And I would encourage you to explore the options there, because this is a great energy to work with. You might find the best practitioner in the world under this influence, and you might be going to see them, on and off for the next 14 years, but it changes your life, Every time you see them, you feel energized, you feel better, you feel like your body is more your own. It can be very powerful. This is a house of healing. This is also a house that has to do with balance between body and spirit. And this is not a balanced energy. It's an extreme energy. Jupiter, Uranus takes things to the max. And so, you might be finding that, one day you're really in your body. You're feeling things on a sensual level, and that's what you're noticing. And the next day, you're completely off on another plane. You're off in the spirit land. And so just go with the flow that happens. Don't get too stressed if you find that you just can't sort of come into your body like you usually would. You're off in imagination land where Pisces people usually hang out, and you're just living in the other realm. One day, know that it's a cycle and it will ease off. This is an electrical energy, and it's like somebody's flicking the light switch on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. And it can be a little bit disconcerting. But the more you just accept and allow the better you're going to be able to cope with this energy, Sagittarius. This is a house of adversity, but this energy is about breaking free. Uranus and Jupiter is about breaking free and finding solutions to old problems. So this could be a solution to some sort of toxicity. You might be able to purge that now and release that now, cleanse it out of your system now. You might have a conflict, maybe you're going through a divorce process, or you're struggling with debt or something like that, or maybe you're wanting a rise in job level, but you need more education and you're feeling disadvantaged. This energy can liberate you. This energy breaks you out of a rut and helps you make a change and move forward without having to look back. So it's quite an exciting time. I think for many of you Sagittarius people, this is the breakout time. If you have been feeling thwarted or disadvantaged or held back in any way, even by something energetically in the universe that you can't explain, you're doing all the right things, but nothing's happening. Along comes Jupiter, Uranus, and it shakes that energy right up and turns it on its head. And suddenly that blockage isn't there anymore, that restriction. It could look like somehow a debt gets paid, somehow a health issue is treated and healed, somehow a conflict comes to an end. This could be quite an exciting time. So yes, it is one of the most difficult houses, but this is a very lucky combination of energy, very blessed combination of energy. So really it could see, this is the house of how we burn our karma, and here Jupiter, the planet of good karma, is coming together with Uranus, the energy of light bulb moments. You're going to see ways to move beyond your karma. Burning karma is done by serving, helping, healing, and fixing. And I think we should all be looking to do that. I mean, imagine if everybody on the planet looked to help and heal and fix. The world would change in a matter of a week if everybody got that attitude instead of the greedy bullshit attitudes we see in so many leaders. But this energy, if everybody sought to help and heal and fix, it brings in the good karma. We burn the old and we bring in the good karma, the new. And you're going to get some great ideas now, Sagittarius, I think, about how to use that good karma in the service of burning the old bad karma. And so trust your intuition now. Trust the ideas that come your way. Some of you might be getting some practical ideas. I mean, Taurus is a very practical sign. I'm talking about karma. What about the real earth plane that we're living on? Taurus is the earth realm here in one of the most earthy, practical houses. It's about living life 9 to 5, doing the job, doing the work. It's about managing your daily earthly routine. Some of you are going to get a breakthrough in your daily routine. Some of you are going to get some new aha light bulb moment about a job that puts food on the table, that pays the bills, that helps you move forward practically in life. Some of you are going to find answers now to that problem. So really exciting for many Sagittarius people. Trust your intuition. Trust the messages you're getting around this date, the 20th of April, or maybe the week before or the week after. You can trust what your spirit is guiding you to now to help you deal with and live your everyday existence. Sixth house is everyday existence. It's everything that's quite humbling, actually. It's cleaning, it's pets, it's cooking the dinner, it's paying the bills, it's, paying your debts, it's all that sort of thing. And in that sense, it can be very exciting and liberating. Uranus is liberating to free yourself of those duties of the sixth house by just being able to manage them better, having the resources and the means to deal with them. Jupiter is prosperity and abundance. Uranus is liberation. And what's the sixth house? Most things of the sixth house can be solved through prosperity. You've got the money to go see that top-notch specialist and get, your health issue dealt with. You have the money to pay out that ex-husband who you owe money to, or wife that you owe money to, and settle that debt. You've got the money, Jupiter is flourishing in abundance here, to be able to get that education and get that certificate you need for that dream job you've always wanted. That's what this energy can bring. the blessing of flourishing, the blessing of abundance that changes all the problems in your life. The sixth house is also a house of employees. If you are somebody who has employees, and that doesn't mean permanent employees necessarily, it could mean, you hire somebody to do some promoting and marketing for you. Maybe you hire a cleaner to clean your house on and off again. It's somebody that you have in your life to be of service and use to you. Well, there might be this could play out in many ways. This could be that you're breaking free of certain employees that you need to get rid of. It could be that your employees liberate you. You felt burdened by having to vacuum the house every week, and you hire a cleaner, and boom, suddenly you've got that much more time on your hands to do the things you want to do. An employee liberates you. So can express in a number of different ways there, Sagittarius. So don't be afraid to delegate. This is an energy where other people can be of service to you, just like you want to be of service to them. And it's a great honor to allow people to do that for you. That gives them the chance to burn their karma. Don't be so proud, Sagittarius, thinking that you can't get the support that you need in life. You absolutely can, and this Uranus-Jupiter conjunction might liberate you to see that, in allowing people to serve you, you're actually giving them the chance to alleviate their karmic debt. Learning to share with others is a sixth house thing as well. And I think that there might be some aha light bulb moments that occur for you, Sagittarius, around sharing resources. You're very good at it anyway. Sagittarius is a very generous energy. But there might be, opportunities for that, to share your resources with other people and to be able to, it's a house of discrimination as well, learning what you should keep for yourself and what you should pass on. There can be some sort of insights around that sort of thing, what to keep and what to let go of now. Thank you, Sagittarius. Okay, Capricorn rising, Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon people. Well, my friends, the energy of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction is occurring for you in the lovely fifth house. Aren't you blessed? The lucky house with the lucky combination of planets. My God. This means that there could be some sort of surprises or opportunities that come your way that are fun. You're getting back in touch with your childlike heart, Capricorn. You can be experiencing, parties and clubs and restaurants, here now. My best friend is a Capricorn rising person. She's currently walking the Camino Trail in Spain. I am sure she's having the time of her life under this conjunction. She is going to be having so much fun, This is the house of fun, and she's just done this for the sake of having fun. So here we are, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, to have more fun in some way. More joy, more exhilaration, more excitement, more happiness, more of the fire of God within us. And of course, when we're in that state, we can become excessively creative, very generous and loving. We actually delight in being alive now. So this is very electrifying energy. It's also magnetizing. You are going to feel under this energy just amped up, electrified as a person, happy, alive, joyful. This is a house of dating and romance too. And for some of you, Capricorn people, you might be attracting lovers now. Like I said, it's a very magnetizing energy. You might be drawing lovers to you, people who are romantically inclined and want to spend time romantically with you. I would also suggest that if you're in an existing relationship, the romance can be amplified and increased. In fact, the sex can be electrified. This is a house of sex for fun, because of course it's a house of joy and fun. And of course, that's one of the things we like to do for fun. And so that can be amplified now too, and electrified in the most wonderful of ways. This is a house of glamour and confidence. So you might get an opportunity to be glamorous, like somebody out of the blue might ask you to sort of, go to a big fancy cocktail party at the flashiest hotel in town, and you get the chance to dress up. You didn't think, you never have the chance to wear that evening dress again. Lo and behold, along comes an opportunity to be social, to go out and express yourself in a glamorous, confident way. It's a very beautiful energy, and this comes like I said, unexpectedly. This is a house of gambling. Jupiter is a planet of gambling and taking risks. Uranus is sudden opportunities. I don't usually say this, but Capricorn, get out there and buy yourself a lottery ticket. This is an energy that supports that kind of thing. It's fun to go to Vegas, I'm sure, on occasion. I just don't want anyone to get addicted to things like that because of what I say. But this is an energy that could see a windfall of a lucky variety for some people. You have to, I'll just qualify what I'm saying here. You have to have the capacity to be a winner in your natal chart with that kind of a thing. If you haven't got it in your natal chart, this energy won't do you any good. But I obviously can't read all your charts right now to know. So I'm going to suggest that for some of you Capricorn people, this is going to be the chance to win something. To get lucky with some sort of risk-taking venture. Buy a ticket in that car lottery or the house lottery or whatever it is. See what happens for you. Just don't get hooked on the idea. Okay? This is the fifth house that has to do with our inner child. And I think a lot of you Capricorn people are going to be really connecting to your inner child in some way. And by that I mean when you were 10, what did you love to spend your days doing? When you didn't have to do chores and help mum and dad, what did you choose to do? Were you out there riding your bike until the lights, street lights came on? Were you down the bush making cubby houses? Were you sewing something on the sewing machine? Were you cooking up a storm in the kitchen? What did you do when you were 10 just for the joy of it, just for the pleasure of it? Well, I think this energy, Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, is going to take you back to that and give you a sense of who you were as a child and that childlike joy again. It's going to be exciting and exhilarating for you to head back into that state of being. This is the 8th house from the 10th, the 5th house. And what it means is that with Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, there can be a sudden and shocking changing career, because 8th house is changes. It's the 8th house from the 10th, the house of career. So what we could see is that for many Capricorn people, you're about to renovate your reputation or reinvent your career. There can be a sudden reversal, but of a positive kind, because this is good karma. The 5th house is landing on your feet like a cat with 9 lives, and Jupiter is the energy of good karma. So I'm seeing for some of you Capricorn people some sort of big change in career that goes your way, that's for the best, that helps you break free and really lands you on your feet in some way. I mean, it could look like some company decides they're going to have to pay out a heap of redundancies. You were thinking about quitting anyway, but instead now you get a big payout, a redundancy package to beat the band. You can retire early. It could look like that kind of a opportunity that comes your way. So do take care of your back and your spine, Capricorn, with this energy. That is what the 5th house is associated with, and there can be sort of sudden changes, and your heart as well. Remember, you see it on, I'm not a medical professional, but you see it on the TV shows all the time. If somebody's heart stops, what do? They use an electric current to jolt it back into action again, and Uranus is electricity. So just be very, I'm not saying you're going to have a heart attack and need one of those, jump starts. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is be conscious of your heart, your spine, and your back, and be tender and gentle around those parts of the body. Now, don't overdo it. Don't push it too much, because this energy can be a bit of overload in that regard. And speaking of overload, you're going to have so many creative ideas just oozing out of you now. Be sure to carry, I try to do, a dream book with you, and if you get ideas, jot them down before they're gone, because this is a quick energy, it's fast, and you might think, oh, I'll write that down when I get home. You get home and it's gone. You can't remember a thing about it. So carry something with you, whether you do it on your phone. I mean, that's the modern way of doing it. I'm a bit old school. Something to capture those creative thoughts as they come flooding in over the next week or so. Thank you, Capricorn. All right, Aquarius rising, Aquarius sun, and Aquarius moon. Okay, you are having this energy of Uranus and Jupiter conjuncting in your 4th house. This is angular. It makes it powerful and highly manifesting. But this is in a good way. Jupiter-Uranus is a very positive kind of conjunction. So this is a house of our roots, where we come from. And so there might be some sudden change to where you come from, but it's going to be opportunistic. It's going to be surprising, but generally speaking, good. So your home might change, where you live might change. Somebody might come up to, like a real estate agent might come up to you and say, hey, we've had an offer on your house. They want to pay, $400,000 more than what you thought your house was worth. You're like, this is an offer too good to refuse. Boom, I'm done. And the next thing you know, all of a sudden you're having to find a new place to live. But it's all good, This is the kind of thing that can happen here. Sudden shocks, surprises of a good variety to do with home, roots, heritage, lineage, where you come from. This is a house also connected to our old age. It represents the 2nd stage of life. So if you are over 50 and you're an Aquarius person with this conjunction, then it can also mean that there's something exciting and liberating about to start for you with this energy. Maybe you get some new opportunity come your way that you never thought you'd have now. You thought, it was all over for me once I turned 50. Well, boom, here comes this energy in the realm of the chart that has to do with the 2nd stage of life, and it suddenly becomes exciting and thrilling in a way you never imagined. Also, I would suggest, Aquarius, this is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction in this realm of the chart. It's likely for the next 14 years that whatever begins now that's exciting about your life, if you're an older person over 50, then whatever begins now is going to stick with you for 14 years and could bring so much fun and joy, Jupiter energy, into your life. So if you're an older person watching this, and I use older respectfully because I'm probably not far off it myself, but this is a wonderful, exciting, and very positive energy to be forming for you Aquarian people. Now, if you're Aquarius, rising sun or moon, and you're younger, this is actually more pertaining to your feelings and emotions rather than the conditions of your life. So watch out for a bit of mental overload, I would say to all Aquarian people. Why? Because Jupiter and Uranus is mental, and Jupiter is expanding mental capacity, but in the house of deep emotionality. This is a house connected to Cancer, which is ruled by the moon and governs the tides, the ebbs and flows, the coming in and the going out. One day I'm like this, the next day I'm like that, and we change. And so it can sometimes represent, the difficult low vibration of this energy can represent some sort of anxiety or periods of feeling low, feeling a bit down. But it's like electricity. There'll be times when it's like someone switched the light switch on, and now I'm feeling joyful. Now I'm feeling excited. But just be careful, because like I said, it can be overload that just leads to overwhelm. So joy is Jupiter. Generally speaking, your emotions will be up, but there might be times when the tide is out and you're feeling a little bit low. Have a plan. Have a plan for that. This may only last maybe 2 weeks or so during the conjunction energy. There might be bouts of it over the coming 14 years from time to time. But use this as knowledge is power. If you knew, okay, I'm going to have a day where I'm feeling a little bit sad, what would you do? You'd have, your pajamas ready to go and a block of chocolate and all your favourite soppy movies ready to watch on TV. And you'd be ready for it. And you'd be like, I'm just going to jump into this energy and be in it and live it and let it pass through me. Do it, have that plan, my pajama day plan, have that ready to go. So, I'm all for experiencing what we need to experience, trying to tell ourselves, stop being so sad and you shouldn't feel this way. That exacerbates it and makes it worse. The more you can accept where you're at and what you're feeling, the quicker that energy just passes through and the tide comes back in. Now, this is the house connected to the maternal line, parents in general are seen from here too, and your mother. And so there could be some sudden changes and unexpected shocks with a mother figure for our Aquarius friends. Your mother might be getting more liberated. She might be getting more rebellious. She might be breaking out of a rut. She might be sticking it to the man. Go mum. Well, if that's the case, support your mum, be her cheer squad, be there for her. But Uranus, Jupiter conjunction can really change things, can turn things around for a mother figure. There can be maybe even some sort of secrets from an ancestral line that come out now. This is an energy of liberation and becoming authentic and being freed. And so if there's been some family secret or some genetic ancestry that's been weighing your family line down or something, maybe there's inherited attitudes or behaviors or something like that in the family that are just no good. This is a liberating energy. This is a breaking away energy. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to have anything to do with your family ever again. No, but it might mean that you're free from that burden that your family's always been carrying. It might look like breaking away from a religion, Jupiter is religion, that kept your family, trapped in some sort of level of subservience for years, and you say, enough's enough, no way, we're out of here. Done with that stuff, and you break free. So really it's quite a powerful thing, especially if you've had a lot of, for example, religion running through your family that's been very detrimental. This is an energy that has, in the fourth house, it has to do with external blockages that we have to success in life, like not so much self-sabotaging, but maybe a family block. Maybe you were taught by your family, oh, our family never does XYZ. I don't care what other families do, not in this family. And maybe it's nothing much, and it stops you from progressing in a way that you could have done really well in. Our family never buys real estate in that part of the town. No, that's only for lower class, whatever, blah blah blah. And so you miss out on opportunities. Well, this is an energy, Uranus, Jupiter, that says enough with those external blocks to my success, or those family paradigms that have been feeding into my life and holding me back all this time. I'm done with it. I'm free. You're breaking out of family ruts, family attitudes, and family restrictions with this energy. So for many Aquarius people, this is an exciting, powerful time. Some of you might be breaking free from an emotional imbalance or an emotional block in your life now too, and that can be very, very empowering. So that's what I'm feeling into for our beautiful, not Taurus, Aquarius friends. What about my precious Pisces? Pisces rising, Pisces sun, and Pisces moon people. Well, for we Pisces people, this Uranus conjunction with Jupiter is occurring in the third house of our small businesses. Now, if you're a Pisces person and you're running a small business, and many of you Pisces people do, I know, because you have Aries as your second house. And when Aries is your second house, you're very entrepreneurial about making money, which then leads to having often your own business. So, and you've got Sagittarius in the 10th house, which is a very independent energy, free energy in the house of career. So those fire signs in the working and money house, they really cause a lot of Pisces people to go it their own way. Fantastic. So because of that, I know a lot of you Pisces have your own businesses, and this is a very liberating energy. If you have felt like, your business has been struggling to sort of get a grip and, become established, this energy can really rocket launch you into greater success. Uranus is rockets, Jupiter is to expand. Away you go. There can be real opportunities for popularity, sudden opportunities to grow your small business, surprises that you didn't see coming, that really empower the way you make money from your own skills and talents and abilities, which is third house small business endeavors. This is also the house of our relatives, neighbors, and siblings, people we don't choose to be in our life but are in our life. They might be going through some significant changes now. They might be expanding their horizons in some way or becoming more open-minded. And this might endear them more to you now, or you might see them, opening up to new ideas that you never thought you would see. And that can be quite exciting when we see that happening in the people around us. This is a house of communication. So for Pisces people, some sudden communication, you might get some news in the next week, Pisces, that is very liberating, very empowering. You know, it could be Jupiter is wealth and prosperity, that you get a check in the mail. It could be Pisces that you get some surprising news of exciting event that's coming up, or a message that changes your worldview. You know, somebody shares an experience they've gone through, they write you a letter, old school of course, and you get the letter, and it changes your perspective of the world. It expands your understanding. Some quirky experience that a friend had changes you. So there can be some real liberation here that comes from a piece of news or a message. You might also be exploring, I don't watch the mainstream news, but some of you might be watching, you know, like a YouTube channel or an Instagram page or something, and there's something talked about there, and suddenly the blinkers drop from your eyes. You gain more understanding. You gain more perspective in some way. You have a different worldview. So messages, usually this is a house of the messenger of the gods, and so of course this can lead to personal freedom and breaking free. Now, if you have felt like you've been mistreated in a friendship or by a neighbor or something, another way this can manifest is that you feel like you've got to rebel. You know, that neighbor keeps throwing their rubbish into your yard over the fence, and you're like, that's it. I've had it. I'm sticking it to this guy next door. Uranus wants to liberate yourself from all the bondage and problems in life. So you ring up the council and you say, hey, get around here and deal with this guy. So, you know, you have this energy of that, I'm not going to take it anymore. Screw that. And so you take action. Uranus wants liberation from problems, liberations. And in this case, like I said, from maybe siblings or neighbors who are mistreating you in some way or taking advantage of you in some way, Pisces. What else can I say about the third house? Well, it is a house of movement and restlessness. You might be doing a lot of traveling. I know that I'm Pisces rising, as you know, and I've got a bit of traveling going on in the next week. Quite an intensive amount of travel. I think I'm going to be in the car for 2 hours almost every day as I travel around and do various wonderful jobs, but it's going to be so exciting and fun. Uranus, Jupiter energy. So, yep, short trips, like not big, you know, trips like from Melbourne to the Gold Coast or anything, but more localized trips, but lots of them. Jupiter is many, and Uranus is sort of maybe even sudden unexpected trips that you weren't planning on taking, but you're going to have to, but it'll be for the joy, it'll be for the fun. You'll get something out of it. I would also suggest, Pisces, that during this time you're going to be thinking a lot about Jupiter-Uranus things. You're going to see the astrology play out in ways you couldn't imagine. The connections, the linkages, the synchronicities are going to be off the charts now. And because this is a house of seeing those links and thinking about those things, you're going to pick up on this, Pisces. Uranus transit through the third house it really opens up your mind in big ways. And it's a 7-year process, Pisces, to just help you see things, you know, understand things at a bigger level. From, you know, Uranus is high up, getting the view, and Jupiter is the big picture. This energy is really going to open up your mind to the truth, to freedom. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how much my mind has been expanded in the last 7 years. And we can say, yes, it's everything that's going on in the world. Absolutely, 100%. But it's also Uranus in the third house of my Pisces rising chart that has opened my mind, third house, up to understand things from a much more liberated perspective than I ever imagined possible. You think you're there now, Pisces? You ain't seen nothing yet. You've got Jupiter-Uranus conjunction occurring here too that is going to blow apart everything that you thought was true in the world and change the way you think completely. So get ready. Your open-mindedness now to explore everything and be curious about everything is going to lead to some massive breakthroughs. And once you know the truth, the old adage is right. It does set you free. It does set you free. You can break out of old thought patterns that have been keeping you stuck, Pisces. Very exciting times. Wow, Pisces, this is like such a big energy to be experiencing. I'm excited to see how it's going to play out for us all. Thank you, Pisces. All right, Aries rising, Aries sun, Aries moon. Thank you for waiting till lucky last, Aries. You guys are having the Uranus Jupiter conjunction occurring in the second house. OMG. Here is lucky, prosperous, and abundant Jupiter with the planet of sudden windfalls, sudden opportunities, shocking new experiences in Taurus, in the second house. You guys could be getting some sort of resources that just come out of the blue. Now, yes, the mind immediately goes to finding out that somebody's kept a bank account. Maybe grandma kept a bank account for you. She put in $20 a week for 50 years of her life, and now there's like an absolute fortune sitting there waiting for you. It could look like money, yes, but resources are other things as well. Maybe grandma donates you her collection of Chanel dresses that she's been wearing since she was a girl. And she has every popular Chanel dress under the sun that's come out in the last 50 years. How exciting. You know, that's a resource. What about food? Grandma's been bottling apricots all summer long and she's got a pantry full of them. Here you go, have a couple of shelves worth of peaches and apricots that grandma's bottled. There's a resource. So sudden blessings and opportunities are not always from grandma either, from all sorts of realms. Often I would also add from your own endeavors too, because this is the second house of your own self-sufficiency. So you might be bottling apricots or peaches. You might be collecting dresses out of the Chanel catalogue or whatever. You might be the one putting money aside, $20 a week for the next 20 years and see where it leads you. Like this could be you establishing something, some new resource acquisition. Either way, can go either way. I would also suggest that this is the beginning of a new cycle. What is established now materially in your life will probably start with a bang. You'll go out and buy 20 Chanel dresses to start your collection of. But over the next 14 years, you'll be doing bits and pieces towards that end, the end of accumulating things, making collections of things, gathering resources around you. They'll be doing this in fits and spurts, I feel, over the next 14 years for a whole cycle. So that could be quite interesting. What are you going to collect? What are you going to keep? What are you going to store? What resources are you going to gather to you now, my beautiful friends? This is also the house of your face, teeth, hair, and voice. I would suggest you might be doing something quirky and interesting with your hair or with your makeup now. Maybe even something quirky with your teeth, I don't know. But I would just suggest to be conscious of these parts of your anatomy. And not that this is a detrimental energy, but, it's sudden shocks. You might suddenly wake up one morning and think, you know what, blue hair, that's cool. Go get your hair dyed blue. And you come away and 2 days later and you're like, what the heck was I thinking? Oh my God, blue hair, frick me. My son did that. Oh, he's an admirer of Walter White out of Breaking Bad, so he decided to shave all his hair off. He's 18. And I said to him, you realize I'm engaged to David and we are getting married and you're going to be in the wedding party. No, I didn't even think of that, Mum. He's got a very prominent Uranus in his chart. Actually, he's Taurus rising at the moment. So his whole image. Thank you. But anyway, lo and behold, this is Uranus. Jupiter conjunction in here can make you do something crazy with your hair, face, teeth, voice, the things of the head and the face. And I just go with a bit of caution lest you regret it a couple of days later, my friends. So what else can we say here? This is the realm of the chart that has to do with financial institutions. There might be, not necessarily worldwide, but for you, Aries, personally, there might be some upheavals or change with financial institutions. You might be saying, you know what, I'm sick of this bank I've been banking with. They're unethical. They take exorbitant fees. I'm done. Screw them. I'm going to start a bank account with a bank that's got a bit of integrity and looks after its customers, gives good customer service. Screw this old bank. So you make a change. Uranus, Jupiter energy is to make a change, to break free of where you're being mistreated by a financial institution, to change your circumstances and find solutions to old problems about the way you're keeping your money or what you're paying money for. I know that the American healthcare system, I was talking about it with Dave today, it is nuts, it's just nuts. I know there's not a lot of options for people, but some people might have a chance, Aries rising, under this energy to say, well, screw this, I'm not paying this anymore, or whatever it happens to be. Healthcare, it could be anything. That second house is what we pay, the money we pay. It's what we buy, and it's also what we get. So, some people are paying, some people are buying for things, and you might feel caught in a trap, like Elvis sang. Caught in a trap, you can't get out, and you decide, that's it, Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, I'm done, I'm changing. Change without regret, no looking back. Go to that new bank, find that new insurance provider, pay a different amount with somebody else for something that is important to you. Like, this is getting out of a rut. This is breaking free energy financially. So look around, do your research now, Aries. You might be astounded at what you find, and find that by making other choices and heading in a different direction, there is freedom at the other end. There is liberation at the other end. Uranus is liberation. Jupiter expands the opportunities for liberation. Some of you with Uranus here might be thinking about investing in alternative industries, or what do we call it? Technology, the internet. There might be opportunities to invest in those sorts of things now. Do some research on that too and see what comes up. You'll know in your gut. This is a very intuitive energy. You'll know what's worth plowing your money into and investing in. But have a look around, because Uranus is anything progressive, it's anything innovative, it's inventions, it's technology, it's electricity, all that sort of thing. My friends, this is a very exciting energy for Aries. It also, we've talked about windfalls in resources. This is also a house of the chart that has to do with being stable and secure. Now, this energy of Jupiter-Uranus is not a stable and secure energy. So you're going to want stability and security in your resources. It's going to be hard to get. But know that this is a positive, lucky energy. The results of this energy are going to be auspicious and full of blessing. So ride that roller coaster. See it, for the fun ride that it is, knowing that out the other side, good karma prevails. Jupiter is good karma. Uranus is the roller coaster. Ride that roller coaster to the good karmic end. Yes. What else can I say about this, just to conclude? The second house, actually, because it represents the resources we can create for ourselves, it asks us, what type of work would we succeed in making money in? And with the conjunction of Jupiter-Uranus here by transit, it's saying you would do well if you incorporated for the next 14 years even, because this is the beginning of a new cycle, something innovative, incorporate in some sort of like media platform or internet-based approach to what you're doing, something scientific, something full of inventions and very visionary. If you can incorporate that into the work that you're doing to make money, you will do very well by utilizing this Jupiter prosperity, Uranus innovative energy to make money now. So my friends, I think we're at the end of our little sojourn, and not so little I might add, through all the houses of the horoscope with the famous Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. It is going to change our world. I hope you'll be blessed in it. I hope you'll come out the other side waving the flag of victory, my friends. Good luck and God bless.